Ho, ho, ho. This special holiday month of Streaming Things is brought to you by these super patrons, and they are Aaron Layton, Ghost, Andrew Gray, Casey McCain, Chester Copperpot, Chloe Richardson, Crystal Trujillo, Emmy, Enza, Jeanette Murphy, Jen Robinson, John Collins, Kalisha Reeves, Kate, Kiki Newton, Stanton Valentino, Thomas Alexander, and Valerie.
Harry Potter. Such an honor.
Welcome back. My name is Chris.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things. I'm keeping you guys on your toes there.
I knew
You
were
are.
gonna do it. I was ready.
I was trying to do a professional studio
Stay
countdown.
on their toes.
Andy actually literally does. He was trained in classical ballet. It's a fun fact nobody knows that I just made up about Andy.
That's why he has amazing
Black
posture.
Swan biography about me.
It was, yeah.
So today, as you can tell, we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Continuing our Harry Potter marathon. The first one where we're all together in a while for Harry Potter.
Since 2.
What a failed experiment. Holy shit.
Yeah, Andy was out for 2 weeks, and then you were gone last week. And
I've had a hell of a end of the year. I mean, I've had a rough year financially in many ways, but a drunk driver hit my car while it was parked, and other things happened that I won't go into. And that's the reason I was gone. But then this morning, someone hit the rental car that they gave me because a drunk driver hit my car. But this time there was a hit and run and they left. And I was like, I'm not missing the fucking Harry Potter. I'm not doing it. I don't care. You can take the car. You can set it on fire. I can't afford it anyway. So what can you do to me?
you can't hurt me.
That's what I told the lady on the phone. You heard me. I was like, I mean, it's your car. I don't care when you come get it. She's okay. So that's where I'm at with that. But anyway, we're all together now. I just finished watching it about an hour ago. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And it's been some years since I've revisited the Half-Blood Prince. So that's what we're doing. We've got 2 films left after this. We also are going to start covering, I've said this many times, I'm just gearing everybody up. We're going to start covering The Last of Us, which the first episode debuts on the 15th of January.
It's a long one, too.
It's almost an hour and a half.
Yep.
And it's going to be every Sunday night, much like our.
Well, no, I found out I have to shoot
on the 16th or something.
No, I'm driving to Tampa, and I get back that day
On the 15th?
Shit.
Yeah, so I'll be like, okay, guys, let's watch The Last of Us. Oh, it's an hour and a half. Oh, it doesn't start till 9. Oh, I'm gonna be up till 4 in the morning. Fuck my face.
We'll fill you in on the parts that you fall asleep on.
Okay, thank you.
Who's going to edit it? Maybe that first one will drop on Tuesday. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
They really do. Man, we'll talk
They
later.
make it hard for the East Coast people.
They do. But anyway, that's the plan. And we still need artwork. I reached out on Twitter and Discord, but if anybody has, it's not going to, I don't think it would take that much for somebody who knows what they're doing, but I just want like some kind of indication, you know how we change our artwork for every show that we cover. So like maybe some dilapidated apocalyptic looking buildings, and then like Streaming Things, a Last of Us podcast in the Last of Us font. That's all it would require. If anybody is able to do that for some compensation, reach out to me on any of my social media platforms or email us at streamingthingspod@gmail.com. If you have those skills. If you don't worry about it. Don't try to figure it out or anything.
If you have the particular set of skills.
Yeah, if you are the Liam Neeson of graphic design, if you will. Any hoozle. So that's that. That's what's coming down the pipeline. We've also got a big end of year, maybe even beginning of 2023 celebration retroactively trivia game where all of the listeners are coming up with questions to ask the 3 of us about our own show to see if we can pass the test.
Yeah.
We don't know when this will be taking place, but it'll be soon. But there's an email, I think, where you can send in your own questions you might want to submit.
Yeah, if you want to submit your trivia questions for Streaming Things, you can do so. You're not going to send it to the normal Streaming Things email, okay? Because the point of this is, you, the fans, are going to be quizzing us, the hosts. So we cannot have access to this. So it is going to a third party. It is being run by a couple of the mods on Discord. They want you to send your questions to stream_fiends@outlook.com.
Stream _fiends.
And if you want like an example for what kind of questions they're looking for, here's the example. Which podcast host once said, quote, "I want to get my cheeks clapped in a brothel," end quote. Andy, do you know the answer to that?
That was me.
Wrong.
It was definitely Chris.
It was me off air. I say it all the time.
So yeah, if you want to
says
take
Andy.
part and you want to submit a question for
Take part in what, Steve?
if you want to take part in the brothel clapping, no, if you want to take part in this trivia extravaganza fun that we're going to have, write in your submission to stream_fiends@outlook.com.
Yes, indeed.
FIENDS.
Yes,
Fiends,
fiends.
not things. Fiends.
That's true.
Stream fiends. Stream_fiends.
That's what we call our club. That's our exclusive club.
Yeah, listeners of the show are called
patrons.
Stream Fiends.
But on to our coverage. So I just finished watching Half-Blood Prince a little bit ago. So as we do, we'll give our general thoughts and history with this movie. We don't have to do the history thing as we normally do because we talked about that the first time. Oh, I do want to say this. We will not associate with any of the ideologies of She Who Must Not Be Named or anything like that. If you are new to the show, we are all inclusive here on this podcast. We support everybody in their life choices. It's none of our damn business, but we do like magic. We do like wizards and witches and whatnots. And we got a lot of our fans wanted us to cover the Harry Potter series. And so that's what we decided to do. So just know that up front. I hope you feel included and welcome.
Welcome.
In this space going forward. But yes, I wanted to start this time because I have something to say.
Ooh, Chris wants to start.
I have always said that that The Prisoner of Azkaban is far and away the best of the Harry Potter films.
Yeah, you famously have said that.
Famously. And I've always said that the Chamber of Secrets is the worst. I think Goblet of Fire might be the worst film.
Maybe.
I might have been shitting on Chamber of Secrets a little too hard. But it's very possible that I now like Half-Blood Prince more than I like Prisoner of Azkaban. And I know it's Andy's favorite.
So good.
All I know for sure is that I fucking love this movie. I had such a good time. This is the most fun I've had watching Harry Potter since we started doing this marathon. I don't know if I was just in the right headspace today. I think it really is a superior movie. I mean, I cried at the obvious place for sure, but also like 4 other places.
Okay.
I mean, I just think all the acting it's the acting is acting that I've ever seen. There's some really good directing.
Famously, Daniel Radcliffe's least favorite performance
Is in this movie?
of his own. Yeah.
Really?
Wow, it's my favorite of his.
Apparently, he said he was struggling with alcoholism at the time and was drunk during several scenes. And so
Isn't he like 16?
well, which one was it? Crabbe or Goyle has already been booted off this franchise for pot,
but
so.
I feel like when you're 16, you start to read a little too much about substance abuse and you think, oh my God, I had a beer before 6 today. I think I might have a problem. Like that's the version. Not to knock him. I was doing blow at 16. Maybe he had a real problem, but
But according to him, it's hard for him to watch this movie because he does not like his own work, which is sad because I think he does fine.
I agree. I wasn't talking about him as far as people that shine bright in this film, but I never was like, oh, Harry's really slacking on this one.
Yeah.
I thought he did great. Alan Rickman is phenomenal in this film. And I think Michael Gambon, I've shit on him a lot throughout the last few movies. I think embodied Dumbledore in this movie. Yes. Because he was whimsical at times when he needed to be. He was emotional,
when he had to be.
powerful. I really like Michael Gambon's portrayal of Dumbledore in this film. I also think that Emma Watson was incredible in this movie.
I can't believe you've gone this long and you haven't mentioned Jim Broadbent.
Well,
Dude.
that was my 3rd paragraph of notes, all caps Jim Broadbent plug. But yes, absolutely perfectly cast. I mean, there's so much British royalty all throughout all of these movies. But I do think that Jim Broadbent as Slughorn is one of my favorite inclusions for sure. I mean,
yeah, he's
amazing.
one of those guys, like he's in this movie and he's so good in it. You're kind of mad that he's not really in any of the others.
Yes,
Where
we
the
need more
fuck has that
Slughorn.
been?
We
I
need more
want him.
Slughorn. We should say David Yates directed this film, and he is the one that directs both of the Deathly Hallows films as well. And he goes on to direct all of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies. So David Yates kind of became the Harry Potter guy after this movie. I don't know how much more or less successful this was at the box office, but anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. I fucking love this movie a lot more than I remember this being one of my favorite books for sure. I love the whole idea of the book, The Half-Blood Prince. I love where it goes, who it's revealed to be. Somebody who I've said many times is a bad mofo. And I know that we've gotten emails about the moral depravity of this person, regardless of how they ended up siding with the good side. And that's fair. But I do still think they're unequivocally one of the strongest wizards in this story.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm talking about Snape for those who are lost.
Oh,
I didn't mean to look right at you,
like,
Steve.
who's hating on Tonks? This is weird.
Love Tonks. And I'm really sad I got to miss Order of the Phoenix. I know that a lot of people.
Oot-P?
Yeah, Oot-P.
Oot-P.
Are you down with Oot-P?
Order of the P. I told you guys to say
I know
that I said Harry P in the Order of the P, and nobody said it, and I was sad.
Oh, sorry,
man.
Superior to your Oot-P.
I mean,
Oot-P. Oot-P.
But I was really sad because I really think, obviously, the death of Sirius is a huge moment, and I think the duel between Dumbledore and Voldemort is one of the coolest things in the series, and I missed all that stuff, even though I know that a lot of people shit on the fifth movie in general. But your guys' coverage was good. Thank you for holding down the Fiznort.
Thanks, friend.
You're welcome.
Andy. No.
It was literally 50-50. It has to be. But I've waxed enough. Steve, what did you think of The Half-Blood Prince?
Well, this movie actually shattered a record. It has shattered a record in my life.
Okay.
It is now the Harry Potter film that I have seen the most because I've seen it 3 times.
Wow.
Does that mean you like it?
I saw it once in the theaters. I saw it 2 weeks ago. And then I watched it again today because I forgot what happened in it.
God damn it, Steve.
Other than obviously the big beats.
The beats.
Yeah. So I watched it again today so I can have like fresh, real notes.
How painful was that?
It wasn't, because this is a good movie.
Yeah,
this is a good one. This is, I don't know if I would say it's my favorite one so far, but it's definitely like a top 2 or 3.
I don't know for sure if it's above Azkaban for me, but it is so much almost there that I am shocked.
It is 100% the best looking one. Like, I think the cinematography in this film in particular is off the charts, way better than the other movies.
Better than Senor Coron?
Yeah, I would say that.
I agree.
Just there's really great blocking and just the focal depth.
There's a scene where he does like an establishing shot with it's a digital crane. It's fake. I don't know what you call that, but I forget what happens, but it cranes out and you think it's just going through Hogwarts. And then you see, I think like Harry and Hermione cuddling and crying or something.
Oh, and it goes up and Ron and Lavender in the window.
Oh, and you see Ron and Lavender in the tower making out, and then Draco being creepy in a big window.
He's just moody.
Yeah. And it just kind of did all that and just said it. And it was there if you wanted to find it. And I was like, nice.
The shot that sticks out to me most is when they go to the Weasley home and there's a shot looking up their like menagerie of staircases.
Like, is Harry here?
Harry here?
I think I know if my best friend was here.
Yeah, like I thought
that's kind of like a who's on first like joke sequence that I really appreciate as well.
It's like the depth of that shot is like it looks flat, but there is depth to it. It's just based on the way that they lit it, and these heads keep popping out of places you don't expect them to. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is a very, very fun movie. I can't wait to get into it with you guys. Yeah.
Andrew,
let's do it. I love this movie. It's my favorite one. That's no secret, and I'm excited to talk about it. Let's do it.
Let's dive right in because we got our watch along party creeping up on us right after we finish this. So we're actually on a time crunch for once. But yes, so the movie opens with the new spooky WB logo with a little bit of lightning behind it, right? That's what we're used to nowadays. Now that these movies get darker and darker, Harry is reckoning with the death of Sirius Black, one of his best friends and godfather.
Get some Oot-P flashbacks.
He does. The press. Yeah, I killed Sirius Black. You hear, I miss the entrance of Bellatrix, which is one of my favorite characters. So I think. I know that Slughorn is incredibly cast, but I think that Helena Bonham Carter as Bellatrix Lestrange is probably the most inspired casting of this entire series. For me, big
Alan
fan.
Rickman, not as Snape.
I mean, there's so much good casting.
Yeah.
Howevs, I love.
It's hard to say.
Me some Helena
but
Bonham
she's
Carter,
amazing.
and even with those teeth, I'm like, I kind of want to be a Death Eater.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, she's like, you can hear her screaming in the background, taunting him. The press is photographing Harry. He kind of seems unable to mourn. And then you see Dumbledore's hand comforting him. All of this in the span of a few seconds. And then we cut to some muggles witnessing the storm cloud of death, like the giant. I don't think they can see the skull part. That just looks like an encroaching storm.
Why was everything look grey and yellow?
Hey, I'm still British, but not magical. That's how they talk. Which I thought was interesting because you don't get to see muggles being affected
Chris,
a whole lot.
It is daylight during this, so they probably saw everything. Because as we established last week, Muggles can see in the daylight, but not nighttime.
That's true.
I wasn't here for this revelation, so I didn't know these. Now I'm going to write this down.
Yep.
Daylight check. And then Death Eaters swoop into what I think is Diagon Alley, and they crash into a random shop. Was that Ollivander's?
Ollivander's.
Is that why it's closed down later?
I think they kidnap Ollivander too.
They do.
Oh, they for reals do? Ollivander,
Which
no.
is weird because
John Hurt?
This happens at the top of this movie, and they don't talk about it until
The
part
next
one.
movie.
Yeah, like they don't bring up.
Well, they go
we
into
kidnapped him.
Ollivander's in this movie.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, it sucks that Ollivander's is
Everybody
closed
gets their
down.
wands here. Yeah, and it's all clearly disheveled. In
But
there.
they're never like, hey, what
Where's-
happened to that guy?
Where's John Hurt?
Nobody cares, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we see, so they witness the storm cloud of death, and then Death Eaters swoop into Diagon Alley, blow up Ollivander's. They raise havoc on a Muggle bridge and kill the people. We see on a newspaper in the next scene, Harry Potter's reading a magical newspaper. What's it called? The Daily Prophet, in a Muggle diner. And luckily the pictures aren't moving, though the waitress that has the hots for him says that she thinks she saw one of the pictures moving.
That tosser Harry Potter.
We see headlines like Harry Potter, the Chosen One, and there's a picture of the Malfoys and their fall from grace is what the headline says. The waitress is flirting with Harry. She's like, maybe you can teach me about that tosser, Harry Potter, as Andy alluded to.
She saw his picture in the paper. She's like, oh shit, I don't know who this is, but
He's famous from wherever this paper's from.
I want some of that. I want that.
I'm just going to put my face on a newspaper and sit in a diner and see if this is replicated.
Have you seen those viral videos of people like just walking around with bodyguards pretending to be famous, and they hire some people to like come take pictures, and then all of a sudden just a crowd builds around them like, oh yeah, you're from that thing, right? And they're not. They're just, trying to make a viral video, and it worked. It's crazy. So anyway, yeah, you see like handsome young man, Danny Radcliffe, he's not unattractive. He's sitting there.
He's a handsome young man.
Reading his paper. He's on that paper. She's like, hey, I want a piece of that.
I get it.
And
he's like, I think
get off at 11.
Yeah. And he's like, I think you can have some. You can have some.
He checks
as they
his
would
breath
say.
Weirdly.
Don't know
The way
what
he did it was weird.
I don't know what a tossa is, but you can do that.
He calls himself a bit of a tosser, really.
But then Dumbledore shows up like it's a horror film. I thought that was a
love
cool
that.
sequence. Because it's like scary, and then it's just Dumbledore, and Harry gets all happy.
Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Yeah, I told you I didn't.
He's got there's the behind him, the advertisement for like perfume or something. It says like, it's magic. And Dumbledore's standing in front of it. Like, yeah, he is.
Dumbledore's hand is all fucked up. We know not yet why. And he actually tells Harry, don't ask about it. Some shit went crazy. I don't have time to talk right now. Take my arm. And he's like, the other arm, like not the gross one.
Harry, if you do this too much, this is what happens to your hand.
See how I didn't use caution?
Harry, take my strong hand.
Take my strong hand. And then he apparates, and Harry does a really good job apparating for the first time. Most people vomit. That's what Dumbledore says. And he says, welcome to the village of Budley Babberton.
Babberton?
Yes.
So
Nice,
I didn't mean to stutter, but it made it funnier. Budley Babberton. Villages in England, they're named thusly. That's all I can imagine. Just silly old Budley Babberton.
Is this a real
Probably not.
village?
But I've watched Hot Fuzz enough times to know it's not far off.
Okay.
Also has Jim Broadbent.
Yeah. Trusty jugglers.
Oh my God. He does. Wow. And then, so they go through this whole disheveled house, and then Dumbledore's not fooled by the suspicious armchair that happens to actually be Horace Slughorn. And how'd you know, Dumbledore? And he's like, dragon's blood.
What gave me away?
Because Dumbledore is so savvy, he sees some blood on the wall, and he's like, I'm going to lick this because I'm suspicious about this blood. And it turns out this is not even Slughorn's house. It's a Muggle house. They're on holiday in the Canary Islands, and he's moving every few weeks because the Death Eaters keep trying to recruit him. So he must be a capable wizard, right? A powerful ally.
I want to see the Dumbledore that's real blood. He's like, oh my God.
I regret this. I regret this. And then there's a cool whimsical sequence where Dumbledore puts the house back together, right?
Yeah,
that's what I mean
love
about
that.
him taking the time to be a Dumbledore type person in this movie.
This also is in the heyday of every movie is 3D. So that scene was a lot of fun in 3D.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. I like the one little piece of chandelier that is trapped under Harry's foot.
Yeah.
That just wants to get away.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm supposed to go back now.
want to go back up there, please.
That's how it talks. It's true.
Miss you.
So they put the house back together, and it becomes quickly clear that Dumbledore's whole reason for bringing Harry here was to lure Horace back to teaching at Hogwarts, but he uses reverse psychology. He goes to take a shit real quick, lets Harry talk to him while he's dropping a hot wizard deuce, and
He's torquing some wicked cable.
he's back there torquing a wicked cable, and then comes back out, and he's like, "All right, Harry, it's clear to me." The reverse psychology. It's clear to me Horace isn't going to come back. Let's get out of here. And Horace is like, "Well, wait, I'll do it."
Well, you're kind of skipping over a big thing where, Horace has this like shelf. These are his collectible children because he collects children's. All mine.
Every last one.
I like the
students, of course.
Yeah, the dialogue there is really cool. It's just the way he says it. It's all mine, each and every one. My students, of course. Covering it up.
Oh, I can write to the post anytime I want. Oh, I get free tickets to Quidditch whenever I want because I'm connected. But also, you have your mother's eyes.
Mm-hmm. Everybody has to tell him that.
Seriously, what did Lily do? No one ever mentions James unless he's a swine. That's
right.
Lily was an amazing person and a very talented wizard.
She must have had pretty eyes.
Lily was pulling that relationship. Well, James is a deadbeat as far as I'm concerned. No one
he had
talks about
messy
James.
hair. He was a dud. He was a cop.
The whole conceit is that
He was a swine.
Harry's like a dead ringer for his dad at that age, except the eyes. And so they're like, you have your mother's eyes,
But everyone loves Lily. Like even in Oot P, whenever Sirius would bring up Lily, he would just Lily.
Should have been mine.
Yeah, my favorite scene in all of Harry Potter is about to happen later on. It's all about Lily.
We're going to find out she used to go by Mrs. Norris, and that's Filch's whole issue.
That's what I called her. She had the most beautiful eyes.
It's a little secret name, but
They look like giant saucers. That's why I liked them.
That's why I like cats.
I clean saucers. And I like cats. Yeah, you know what? I'm learning things about myself.
This is a good therapy session, Filch.
Thank you.
That'll be one galleon.
I'm all about mental health. Have you heard about BetterHelp?
I have.
They connected me to you.
Good. 10% off by using code streaming things.
What? There's a code?
Oh, we don't give it to squibs. That's right. But Horace collects students like Pokemon. That's what we find out basically. And he says, I'll do it.
He even has like a fun...
And Harry is the shiny Charizard. He wants that.
He has a fun little thing where he says I taught all the black children except for Sirius.
But I like the set.
I'd like the set.
Yeah, he's collecting straight up. It's awesome. It's amazing.
I'd like the set.
Okay.
But he points out Regulus Black, which I think is very important.
It does become important later. He says, he did teach Regulus, but not Sirius. We go outside. There's a funny exchange right before they apparate back to the Weasleys where Dumbledore's like, I'm very sorry I took you away from your potential poontang, Harry. And Harry's like, oh, it's all right. I'm sure I'll hit it when I get back. And he's like, actually, you won't be going back. Yeah. And if you do hit it, use caution. Use caution. Wrap that shit up, my boy. That's what happened to my hand. I thought Steve was giving me nuts. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, man.
Like, yeah, Dumbledore.
He got that nasty hand.
But then they apparate to the Weasleys. This time it's not very well done. He just leaves Harry in a fucking swamp.
Too for real.
And that was totally entirely his doing. Like it's kind of weird, actually. But anyway, he goes in there. Jenny sees Hedwig in his trunk because Harry asked, what about my trunk and all my stuff?
I assume it's because the burrow is under magical protection. So he had to land Harry outside of it because people can't apparate within the confines of the burrow.
Not much magical protection, as we'll talk about in a moment.
Yes.
And I'm actually, I have one of my famous tirades coming on.
All right, then.
Stay tuned. Daddy.
But Jenny gets really excited. Oh my God, that's Harry's owl. That means Harry's sexy ass might be around here somewhere. She starts running around the house. Molly pops her head over the staircase, the shot that you guys were talking about. I think I would know if Harry was in my house.
Harry who?
Where's Harry?
Yeah, Harry who?
The only one you know.
I know. The famous one that's always fucking here.
Harry Potter, of course.
I just smoked a big spleef. Harry who? Harry and the Hendersons. I love that movie.
I love it.
And then Ron pops his head out. I think I'd know if my own best friend was here. And then Hermione pops out. And one of them's brushing their teeth. Is it Ron?
Hermione.
Hermione.
Yeah, Hermione's brushing her teeth. And
because her parents are dentists.
I get it. Oh, no, I didn't. That didn't occur to me until just now. Even though I said get it, it was me getting it. But there's this comical Harry spotting scene, as I called it. And then they finally do find actual Harry. And she's like, oh, Molly's like, I didn't know you were coming. And he's like, I didn't either. Dumbledore, And
That man.
What will we do without him? Which is a foreshadowing.
Yep.
Very sad
About
one.
to find out.
Very sad one. And there was a cute moment with Ron and Hermione because he sees that she's got some toothpaste on her, I think, and tries to get it. And she's like, oh, stop. That's a cute moment.
Not in front of everybody else.
And then we cut to the kids talking, I think is the next scene. And there's a moment where Ron, I think it's Ron, says that everybody's going mental, as he always says. And that's like his move. But he talks about how his mom was half inclined to not let Ginny and he back to Hogwarts, which I just want to pop in and say it is too dangerous to go to Hogwarts. It is insane or mental.
It always has been.
It always has been.
Right. Do not let the kids go back there.
It's the only difference between this year and previous year is it's dangerous outside of Hogwarts as well.
Yeah, right. And then there's the kids laugh at how old Dumbledore is.
He's at least 150.
Yeah. Which I guess
I love this trend in movies where like someone will say a joke that's not very funny.
Yeah.
But then the actors have to laugh for like 30 seconds. They're like,
They're still panning away.
so the camera can pan away and look at Malfoy in the fire. Like, good one, Ron. He's old.
Yeah. Some classic ageism. Let's all chuckle. And then we cut to Narcissa Malfoy and Bellatrix talking about how they, Bellatrix is saying we can't trust him. We're talking about Snape, and we see fucking Peter P. Hate that guy. He's
Peter P.
Peter P. answers the door.
PDP.
Snape's reading the same newspaper Harry was, and then like in a loving way that I appreciated, slams the door on Peter Pettigrew's face and forces him out the door.
What is the living situation here? Whose house is this?
I don't know.
It's Snape's house.
It's Snape's house?
Yep.
So
He's letting Peter P. crash there.
The PDP like, can I bunk? Can I bunk with you?
Something to eat, lots of cheese.
You can live in the basement.
Please stop shitting on the floor.
I mean, he's like full on in with the Death Eaters again.
Yeah, he's spying. It's his
Peter-
move.
PDP needs a place to stay.
We have to talk about this. It is your night to do the dishes. And I need you to do it.
I would love to be Snape's roommate.
Would you? Would you? Go on. Elaborate.
Keeps it immaculate.
Yep.
Brew's the best. He's in there brewing glory when I get home from work.
Oh, man. Like, Severus, you brewed up that glory?
He's bottling some fame.
That-
Why is there not Harry Potter themed beer called Severus? And then like the different flavors are glory, fame. Did I just come up with the best idea ever?
No, because
death.
butterbeer would sell
Stubborn
way more.
Well, one of them would be the Three Broomsticks and it would just be butterbeer.
Okay. I would drink that.
I know you would, buddy. That's what I'm saying. I would sell it to people like you.
I wouldn't
make a
drink death.
million galleons. I wouldn't drink death. Liquid death.
He puts
That's
a
the
stopper
water.
in death.
He does.
I ain't gonna drink that.
Even put a stop in death. I'm going to keep working on it. If anybody wants to invest in my Severus Snape brewery, hit me up, streamingthingspod@gmail.com. Subject line, Harry Potter themed brewery.
So I like the scene with Narcissa, Bellatrix, and Snape.
Are we done talking about the brewery?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, we're moving on.
We're moving on.
I like the scene because it's a nice little flip on a well-established Harry Potter trope. Narcissa is the one in this movie to say, he's just a boy. But this time she's talking about Draco.
Yeah.
Draco has been charged to do something by the Dark Lord. We know not what yet.
We know.
We know.
But you're
Because we've
the
seen it
first time
before.
viewers. Yeah.
For first-time viewers,
not.
you know not yet what it is.
Yeah,
They
and
don't
so-
come out and say it.
Bellatrix is goading Snape. She's actually correct.
He's
And
just a little bitch. He ain't gonna make
she doesn't trust him, and she's actually correct in not trusting him. She thinks that he's
yeah.
never quite committed himself to the Dark Lord, and so she suggests almost jokingly
to it.
to use the unbreakable vow, which we gather very quickly is some kind of spell that is a vow you can't break, as Ron explains it later.
Oh, thanks for that.
I gathered that much.
Appreciate that.
And then when he says he's willing to do the unbreakable vow, Bellatrix is almost shocked, right? Because if he fails to live up to the vow, he'll die, and basically charges him to protect Draco and also help him, if needed, carry out what the Dark Lord has asked him to do. And then he's locked in right there. He does it. I like that scene a lot because you can see the fear in Snape's eyes, but what do you do in that situation? I also like the visual imagery of the vow itself, like the tied up hands and stuff. It was cool.
It like leaves little marks on their hands after the fact.
And the relief in
cool visual
Narcissa's
effect.
eyes, like, holy shit, he's really going to help my
She's
son.
like crying and shit, like staring all weird. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Narcissa and her biggest concern is Draco, which I think is a really cool little wrinkle on those characters.
She feels stuck in obeisance to the Dark Lord and doesn't want her son wrapped up in this, and it's too late now, especially with Lucius out of the picture. And so we cut to Fred and George's joke shop, which is another thing I was sad to miss in Utpi, because that's when does the movie show that Harry gave them the money to do that? I don't recall.
No,
in the books, Harry gives them the money for that shop. Bummer.
Which is super unfair because like both of the other competitors got cheated, and then Harry just gets the money anyway.
Right.
It's crazy.
Oh, from the Tri-Wizard tournament.
Yeah.
Oh,
totally.
it's the Tri-Wizard tournament money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I thought
Harry
you meant just
gives-
Harry's Elon Musk money.
I mean, he could have afforded to help
Harry
them
wins
anyway.
1,000 galleons, which is like 30 grand or something in the tournament, and he just gives it to Fred and George because like Cedric died, and it's like blood money to him. He doesn't want it. But yeah, like Fleur and Victor both got like jinxed by Barty Crouch Jr. in the process of that tournament, and then the fucking English Ministry of Magic is just like, yeah, Harry won. Here's the money.
Yeah, because
Nobody's like redo.
everybody always plugs Harry. That's just how it has throughout this entire series.
Yeah.
And
That,
then,
that was one of my notes on this is when we see Fred and George's shop was like, man, Fred and George doing great.
Yep.
yeah, their business is a booming already. We find out a lot in this little scene. Ginny's dating Dean Thomas. There's a cute scene where her and Hermione are looking at the love potions for a long time.
A lot of girls
Cormac
looking at love
McLagan
potions.
is giving her some eyes.
He is. He's actually quite a creeper. That Cormac.
Yeah. That's
I'd
vigilante.
like to know her on a
from
first name
Peacekeeper.
basis. Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
He looks like more jockey in this. As his role is, but
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
like voice and stuff, and like you don't really hardly see dude's face in in Peacekeeper until like halfway through it.
yeah,
But,
Peacekeeper?
yes,
Peacekeeper,
Peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, you did. So we
It's Peacemaker.
Oh shit! It is Peacemaker.
we just kept Peacekeeper's
Yeah,
the
Peacekeeper.
shotgun from Apex.
Yeah.
You let that hang way too long. Hope you got some satisfaction out of that airtime,
Yep, I
Steve.
did. Feel good?
I did. I feel real good about
I
it.
apologize to our listeners for his smugness and making you listen to that.
I'm having a great time today.
I especially like the scene where Ron tries to buy something and the brothers, Fred and George, are like 5 galleons. And he's like, yeah, but I'm your brother. And
10
they're like,
galleons.
oh, you're right, 10 galleons. That's definitely how my brother would be. And we find out there's a tiny dragon roasting nuts outside, which I just thought was a neat little world building tidbit. That's how they roast their nuts in this universe.
Is Lavender in the scene?
Lavender does kind of moon at Ron temporarily.
She says hi.
Is Lavender
Guys,
Brown the
hi,
one
Ron.
that's recast? Am I crazy about
no,
that?
she's not recast.
Okay. I know one of the girls was recast, an important one in the movies. Like from movie to movie, it was just like a boom. I'll research that later. I'm sure somebody will write
I'll
in.
have to think about that.
Then they go into Ollivander's, which is closed, and they look through the window and they see Draco and Narcissa heading into Nocturne Alley, all creepy like. And they decide, of course, to follow them because they're looking like they didn't want to be followed, so we should follow them.
Right.
They do wander into Borgin and Burke, which is like the creepy creeper shop. And through the window, they espy Draco just with known Death Eaters, or at least one. I don't remember his name, but it's a known Death Eater that Harry can see him with.
Is it the werewolf one?
Yeah, it's Fenrir
Fenrir,
Greyback.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, the crazy ass Fenrir.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot he was a werewolf. Is that why Lupin gets all crazy outside of the Weasley's house? Because he can sense another werewolf there?
Probably, yeah. Like, well, he's being all weird, and Tonks says like he gets weird when it's the turn of the moon or whatever.
Yeah, the
So he
first
can
half of
probably
the cycle.
smell 'em.
Yeah, you can smell that motherfucker. Like, ooh, there's some stank out here.
Ooh,
Anybody-
stanky.
Molly? Sorry, I'll just stop. So then we cut to the Hogwarts Express and we get to see Luna Lovegood,
Yay.
one of my favorite people ever.
Love her.
Wandering around handing out copies of the Quibbler, trying to warn people about Rackspurts, which are tiny invisible little creatures that go in your ears and mess your brain up.
Love her.
And then
10 points to Ravenclaw
indeed.
just for her existence.
And then Harry's theory about how Malfoy has become a Death Eater. Ron and Hermione are like, no way, bro. Holy shit. What
What do you mean the most obvious fucking thing ever?
What in the last 5 years would lead you to believe Malfoy would be a Death Eater?
Yes,
you are
his
to
dad
rip
is a Death Eater, but not Malfoy. He's such
No.
a good kid.
No,
He's
no
just
way.
a boy.
He's always been nice to you, Potter. By the way, teen girls love Tom Felton. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Like my wife is always telling me, oh, I was so in love with Tom Felton. That's great. And I just
Tom
don't.
Felton is a gem.
Yeah, I guess. Did he do anything after this?
He was in Planet of the Apes, the reboot.
The Tim Burton one? Or is that was before this?
No,
As a baby with Mark Wahlberg?
No, the first one with James Franco.
Really?
He's in that. He was in The Flash, the TV show. I remember seeing him in
yeah,
that
he
at
was.
some
Yeah,
point.
That sucks.
he just came out with a book.
The Flash is actually pretty
Because
awesome.
Tonks went on to do Game of Thrones.
Right.
I mean, the main three are just rich for life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What else? What else? Dudley Dursley has been doing a bunch of like artsy movies that are really
He
good.
was in like the Coen Brothers shit and stuff. Queen's Gambit.
The guy who plays Goyle has been successful too, right?
I don't know.
But Crab, I
Selling
haven't seen him
drugs?
since. I mean, Crab's on the street.
Whichever one's still in the movies.
We cut to Draco talking about how he's dropping out soon. He's not going to be here next year. His little Slytherin buddies are like, yeah, right. And he gets offended by that. Then he looks up at what it looks like he's looking at the luggage. But we find out soon that he can sense that Harry.
Where Harry got Peruvian instant darkness powder from
Ninja
the
smoke.
Weasleys and dropped that shit and then snuck in there with his cloak.
Did he need the Peruvian powder if he had an invisibility cloak?
That's a solid point.
Well, someone would have, in theory, seen the door open and close, and no one would have been there.
Or
That's
his
true.
feet
Oh, they were in a
dangling under the
cabin?
cloak.
Yeah, they're in a
That's
train
true.
cabin, and he was outside of it, and he needed to get into it.
That's true.
But then how did he throw the smoke in there?
He's Batman.
Cracked a little bit.
He pulled a Batman, basically. But Draco was too savvy. An unusual amount of savviness for Draco in his moody face.
I did notice that they introduced Blaze, who is
Yes.
his new crony to replace the one that got in trouble with pot.
Right.
But they have someone who looks like that character, like
Sitting
a
next to
body
Goyle.
double, like to the side. So you
Yeah.
don't get like a straight on look at him, but it's supposed to be him, and which I thought was kind of funny. Like,
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
And Draco hangs back, like, hold on, guys. Petrificus Totalis petrifies Potter and stomps his fucking face,
curb stomps him.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Draco curb stomps Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Kind of.
He curb stomped him.
Well, that's when you put the teeth on the edge of the curb.
What the fuck?
There were
It's
no
rough.
curves.
He was
but still.
stomping a mud hole.
He was opening a can of whoop ass, as we say on this side of the pond.
Draco's like, give me a hell yeah.
And then Luna, luckily, is wearing her Raxpert spotting glasses, wandering around.
Love her.
And finds Harry sitting there, wakes him up. And he's like, how'd you find me? And she's like, you have so many Raxperts. They're everywhere. So
They're real.
She's-
You know, the Quiddlers ain't totally full of shit.
I guess. But that's awesome. So then Luna and Harry miss the carriages back to the school as part of that. They have to walk by foot and they end up getting bitched at by Flitwick. And he's like, names? And they're like, you know our names. You've known us for 5 years.
Protocol.
I'm following protocol, Potter. I like that he actually says the name in the end of that. So there's R. This is where we find out there's R's patrolling the grounds of the school now to protect the kids. They're searching all the kids so basically like an American school now.
Yeah, totally.
And Luna fixes
And
Harry's.
the teachers do all have wands,
That's
you know.
true.
So like they're
They're
protected.
carrying. The Luna fixes
that thing on
his
him.
broken nose and a pisky, which reminded me so much of McClunky that I lost my shit.
Clunky.
McClunky, a pisky.
I do love how she's like, I feel like you have a devil may care.
She likes the broken nose.
And then when she fixes it, she's like, you look exceptionally ordinary.
Yeah, he's like, he's good.
He says, brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
I think.
There's so many good tiny moments in this movie, more so than any of the other films. I love it so much. Like when it cuts to the next scene, Ron's like eating some kind of weird British shit like Jello. It's like Jello pie. I don't know.
It looks gross.
It did.
What
Maybe
is that?
It might be bangers and mash. I don't know.
That was like, I did not see a banger nor mash.
It was a banger. I don't know. It looked like the inside of a cherry pie, the filling, the cheap kind you get in a
Yeah,
can.
it did. And then Hermione was like, will you stop?
That's what I
eating?
love this moment where she's so worried.
him with
She
the book.
starts hitting him with the book, and he's like this great lunk, right? Like, will you stop
Whoa.
eating? Your best friend is missing.
Have you gone
Look behind
mental?
you.
Have you gone
Maniac.
mad? That's all I ever say is women are mental. Were you on your period or something? That's the vibe he gives.
The phrase Ron
is the
sucks
vibe.
appears quite often in my notes.
I know you hate Ron. And then there's a cute little moment right after this where when Harry sits down, he's covered in blood. And they're like, oh, he's covered in blood again. But Jenny's like wiping. She takes the rag and she starts wiping his
Where
blood.
has this Ginny been? Where has this Ginny been?
Yeah.
If they had done this
somehow,
yes.
it took them. What are we at? 6 movies in. It took them 6 movies to be like, hey, you know what? We should probably develop this character.
Yes.
we should give her screen time.
Finally, if
and
they had
make
been
her
doing
actually-
this,
yeah.
it would have been such a good wallop. But yeah, I completely agree. I think Ginny's character is handled really well in this particular film, and I wish it had started sooner. I had the same thought when I was watching this. I was like, where is this Ginny been? Just give her a couple lines.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, she disappears. Again.
It's true.
I watched Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2 this weekend, and I was like, oh, Jenny's gone again. Sweet. Cool.
Man, you're just doing extra homework, man. Getting ahead of the curve.
I wanted to see how it ended.
Oh, you got involved.
I mean, it's kind of fair based on what had to happen, you know. But anyway.
So they introduce Horace Slughorn as the potions professor, and Snape is going to be the defense against the dark arts professor. That's what we find out in this scene as well. Finally, I'm so fucking excited.
Did a dream come true?
I love working with children. I'm such a good teacher.
I'm elated.
And then there's a scene where Ron. So I like this because in American high schools, at least my experience was, the older you get, the farther along you get, the less you actually do, which seems to be the case in this school as well.
Yeah.
Because there's
period.
there's a free period where Harry and Ron are just standing there laughing at people in the hallways.
Yeah, what are they doing?
It doesn't matter, because I can remember
Having a good
sitting in
time.
the.
Oh, yeah.
I had a bunch of free periods my senior year, and the teachers had known me for so long at that point where they were just like, "What are you doing, Chris?" And I'm just like, "I don't know. Why am I here?"
You can't touch me.
Yeah, I'm probably smoking cigarettes
I'm not
and
even
hacky
supposed
sacking.
to be here.
So much hacky sack. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But McGonagall's not having that shit. She's like, Harry, you want to be a cop? You better go take potions. Super relevant. And he's like, I do want to be a cop.
I bleed blue.
And he's like, but I can't because of my owls. And she's like, well, now Slughorn's the teacher. His standards are way lower. And so you can get in there. And he's like, oh, God, I didn't know that. They're taking idiots. Ron, come on. She's like,
Are you
take
mental?
Weasley with you. He's like, I don't want to
He
take
looks far too happy.
Potter, take Weasley with you. He's having far too much fun.
Yeah, this isn't well-mannered frivolity. This is ill-mannered frivolity, and I will not stand for it.
No.
I'm Maggie Smith. I'm a goddamn national treasure. Calm down, lady. We're going. And then Ron's pissed because he's like, I did Quidditch practice and something mental something. And Lavender is so happy Ron's in there. She's obsessed with him as soon as he walks in. And then I love this.
Slughorn is obsessed with Harry. He's so happy that he's there.
Oh, Harry!
Harry, my boy.
I love the idea that if McGonagall hadn't done that, Harry wouldn't have been in his class, and his whole reason for attending Hogwarts would have been pointless, right?
Right, yeah.
It occurred to me. But one of my favorite tiny moments in this movie happens right
here,
now.
when they get the books.
When they're fighting over the books.
Yeah,
Like, that's such a kid thing to do out of nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? When they're fighting over the one that's not ratty and they're fighting over the last good book.
And Ron gets it, and Harry like smacks him with with the shitty one.
Yeah. It's just an awesome moment. They fight over the good book. And then they
Good book.
Yeah, not that good book, as you do.
Oh, the wars that have been waged over the good book.
Gideon's Bible. And then Slughorn's walking him through all the different potions that he's got there. And there's one's a love potion. It makes you. It doesn't cause love, which is impossible. It causes obsession and infatuation, is what he describes. And then Hermione, for some reason, offers up freely what she smells because it smells different to each person. And she's said, freshly mown grass, parchment, and spearmint toothpaste, which is why I asked who was brushing their teeth earlier, because I thought maybe Ron had been, and that's why she's thinking of him with the potion. But other than that, I guess it's just because she's a dentist's daughter.
The vapor changes colors as she's describing it. It's cool.
Yeah. And then
all the other girls in class are really captivated by it.
they are all
like
five of them.
slowly all creep up to it.
Who is that? Is it like Katie Bell?
It is Katie Bell.
Is there a
Lavender
Cho Chang
Brown,
there?
And no, Katie Bell, Lavender Brown, and Romilda Vane.
Romilda Vane is there as well. That's right. All the characters that we actually
Is
named
Cho
throughout
in
the
this
movie.
movie?
I don't think she is, which I thought was strange.
Interesting.
Not that I can recall.
We also find out about Felix Felicis, which is liquid luck, as Granger offers. And it's a tiny bottle. It's very, 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 very difficult to brew. It'll give a person perfectly good luck. Everything that they try to do will work out just fine while the effects of the potion last. Here's my question to you. Question first of many in this magical world.
Yes.
Why wouldn't someone who could make this, talented enough as Slughorn is to make it, not just make it all the fucking time?
Right. They do bring that up, and I think that there's like bad repercussions that can happen to you if you use it more than a couple of times.
Okay.
And he did say it was disastrous if you fuck it up. So maybe it's just one of those things like
he's confident enough in his ability to make it to give it to children.
Give it to
Yeah, but
children,
he's-
would be my
He's
rebuttal.
the potion,
Well, I
potion
got the
master.
impression that it'll go poorly if, like, to you while you brew it if you mess it up.
Yeah.
Like the brewer is at danger, not necessarily the person.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he says, I can't remember if it's the movie or the book, but he uses it twice in his life, and they were two of the best days of his life.
I do kind of vaguely recall that. That's right.
Slughorn does.
Okay. Question number 1 answered. Thank you, guys. And then while he's launching a contest essentially to try to brew, what is it? Living Death?
Liquid Death.
No, Living Death,
Oh, is it Living Death?
which doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Liquid Death is the water that's on sale.
Oh.
It's a brand of water.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
good.
you're right. You're right.
I don't know. Does Living Death kill you?
Draft of Living Death. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it
when
would.
he drops the leaf in, he says, one drop would kill us all.
I know, but like the name Living Death made me think it was like you looked at like kind of like a Romeo, the potion that Romeo takes,
okay,
right?
maybe.
Like all your vitals stop, but you're not dead kind of potion.
Well,
Anyway,
it killed that leaf.
it did. Killed the shit out of that leaf.
Execution style.
So Harry's textbook is old and used and it has notes in the margins and it gives him like a better version of the recipe. Don't cut it, crush it, use 13, not 12 beans or whatever.
And it says this book is property of the Half-Blood
The
Prince.
Half-Blood Prince. I love this scene as well because in the back you can see Hermione, her hair getting increasingly disheveled because she's unable to
Deviate from the instructions.
Yes, yes. And she's such a great student and she's like, damn it.
I love it when Harry tries to help her. He's like, no, crush it. Don't cut it.
It says cut.
It says clearly cut, Harry.
Holy shit. Are you mental? Ron, is he mental? I've always said he was mental.
I don't even know why I'm here.
Period.
Anyway, so he wins the contest. We also see a more
No one is
exploding
happy.
Seamus in the background.
Yes, which is important for Seamus.
You guys always see exploding Seamus. And yeah, nobody's like, God damn it, Harry gets the coolest shit in the world again.
Oh, wow. Harry Potter wins another competition.
Weird.
Because some adult gave him the answers. Cool.
What are the odds?
Even Ron and Hermione are like doing that
All
same
right,
face, like this fucking kid. Why are we friends with him?
And then we cut to Dumbledore. He's got the stabby book from the Chamber of Secrets and a ring. He throws the ring in the stabby book's hole and throws it all in a drawer. And then Harry arrives and he's like, are you hot for Miss Granger? And which is a weird question, but Harry's like, no. He's like, I was just wondering.
Because Dumbledore sees what all of us have been seeing for the last 6 years, all right?
I'm going to die
I
soon.
love
And before I
that
go,
so much though, because we know where it goes and we know what Dumbledore knows at this point. And for him to like just take interest in the little things in Harry's life, despite the fact that
more so than ever.
ultimately just using him as a tool to defeat the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
He like still does care about him. And I love that.
It is a good moment.
Despite everything else going on in my life. How's it going?
And then there's we talk about the memories of Voldemort. He's got them all on display. Like these are all my interactions with Tom Riddle and Voldemort. I'm missing some key ones. He makes Harry watch one, which is when Dumbledore first met Tom Riddle, when he visited him at the orphanage. And we go through that whole memory sequence of creepy little Tom Riddle not trusting Dumbledore, and he set his
I love it.
armoire on fire, and you don't steal at Hogwarts, you little bastard, or I'll beat the dog shit out of you, or whatever Dumbledore says.
Do you know that's Ralph Fiennes' nephew?
I did not know that.
I
That's
did
awesome.
not know that.
The young Voldemort in this scene is played by Hero Fiennes Tiffin.
Didn't know that at all. Young Voldemort is a
got-
young Voldemort.
He's got 7 little rocks sitting on his windowsill. It's,
Really?
Yeah, it's a little nod to his obsession with the number 7 because it's a magical number and precursor to him wanting to have 7 parts of his
Horcruxes.
soul.
Interesting.
He has a photo of the cave that they end up at the end of the movie.
Really? You guys are catching stuff. Good job.
You know.
Yeah.
Gold star to each of you.
I mean, I just sit on my couch and watch the movie like everyone else.
There's also this tiny little moment where Dumbledore, I think it happens here, dips his hand in the pensive, but it's his shitty hand, and it goes normal for a second, and he pours the memories back out, and then it goes back to all decrepit. It's this tiny little thing. I noticed it for the first time watching it this time.
That is neat.
I didn't pick up on that. Cool. That's cool. So, real quick, I do have a question about this flashback scene.
Okay.
He sets his armoire. Is that an armoire on fire?
I guess. I don't know.
He does.
And he's like, "Oh, there's something trying to get out of there." And they open up this little box and there's a bunch of random shit in it. Is it implied that he's just been pickpocketing people or something at the orphanage? Like, what was the significance?
Yeah, he's
of
been stealing. But the most important thing that you gather from that is that he likes trophies. And so that's Dumbledore's learning that he's going to seek out and steal things to use for his own ends.
It's really an indication that once you got a bad seed, there's nothing you can do.
It actually is genetics.
That kid is a bad seed.
You see what I'm saying? And he's going to go to Hogwarts and spoil the whole bunch. That's what I took from it.
It is really funny, like how we have all these flashbacks of him, and the people who have these memories are always like, I couldn't tell he was evil. I'll tell you what really blindsided me here was, I was talking to Damien Omen kid, but it surprised me that he grew up to be Wizard Hitler.
It's really fucked up when that teacher said it was all for him, killed himself.
Yeah, it's messed up that kid.
Didn't put it all together.
Did you like how all the flashbacks are color graded to be green? Because he's the heir of Slytherin.
Oh, I didn't think about the fact.
And it's the Avada Kedavra color.
That's too.
Solid.
Green's an evil color in Harry
best
Potter.
color. Except for Harry's eyes.
Those are Lily's eyes.
Yep. Well, canonically, they're supposed to be green. In the movie, they're blue. But, whatever.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That would be better if he had green eyes. That makes the connection between the two of them is
More effective.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then this is where we find out that Dumbledore is asking Harry to be a spy for him on Slughorn.
You said he was going to try to collect me. You want me to let him?
Yeah.
He says yes.
I think that's the scene. Exactly. Then we cut to Draco doing some skep shit.
That's a weird phrase. Like, this teacher's going to try to collect you. I don't want you to let him. There is like a weird.
There's a couple of lines in this movie that are weird where he's like, do whatever you have to.
Go to this grown man's slumber party.
He might try to liquor you up.
Yeah.
He does indeed.
He does do that.
Well, and everywhere else but America, the legal age for drinking is
Like 16.
14, I think, in Germany for beer. And yeah, so that's not as big of a deal to drink in other countries as it is America.
Yeah.
Anywhoozle, we won't get into the politics of what that does by making it taboo. Not on this show. It's not like drug alcoholism and addiction is way worse in America because of the tabooification of those things. That's not what I'm going to say because that's not this type of show.
No,
not
at all.
So Draco's doing skep shit. We find out later he's fixing the vanishing cabinet is what he's doing all the time. That is, in fact, the room of requirement, which I missed. One of my favorite things about Order of the Phoenix is that
nice.
The training room. And we cut to...
There's a nice little shot of the Death Eater. It's a scene that only exists for the audience, but it's a real quick scene of Death Eaters trying to get into Hogwarts and being denied by the wall. Here we come. Oh no.
I like the fly when Flitwick first put the charm on the gates, the little fly comes into it and hits it. And he's like, it worked. Which is like, thank God it does. But it's your whole ass job.
But it's funny that like weeks or months into the school term, the Death Eaters are like, all right, let's try it again. Ha ha. Shit. Hopefully Draco comes through with the closet trick.
I trust that kid. Early up and comer. And then we cut to Harry, who's running Quidditch practice now. I guess he's the team captain. Did I miss that in 5?
Yes.
What's his name?
They completely cut out Quidditch, and Wood is gone.
Yeah, Wood left. He
Wood
graduated.
left. So they won the Quidditch Cup for the first time for the Gryffindors in the 3rd movie, and that was Wood's last year at Hogwarts. So it was a big deal for Wood.
Oh, and there was no Quidditch during
the Triwizard Tournament, and now Harry's.
And there wasn't any Quidditch when the fascists from the Ministry were there either, I guess.
Yeah, so there is in the books. They just cut that out of the movies.
One of the many things, yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Judiciously.
So this is the first we see of Harry being team captain, and they just kind of brush over it like this?
Yeah, it's just, hey, he's captain now.
Did you see what Harry's number is?
69.
7.
Nice.
7.
Wow. Did not.
It's team number. But also Jenny plays too.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know what's going on. I thought I missed all this in 5. Now I'm like, oh shit.
In the 5th book, Harry gets suspended from Quidditch by Umbridge, and Ginny fills in as the Seeker.
That's right.
And then Harry comes back, and she becomes a chaser.
But like after the books, like she becomes like a professional Quidditch player, right?
I don't know. Like
that's her future?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I was reading like what happens to all these characters, and I think Jenny was like a big Quidditch star.
Could be. That's what Ron wants to be. Damn. Ron getting shafted in every turn.
Are you mental?
He does get Hermione.
But yeah, Ron,
I feel like he's a
keeper,
stay-at-home
right?
dad. That's the vibe he gives off. Huh?
Well, if you want to know, according to the literature I was reading, Ron briefly became an Auror with Harry.
Oh, wow.
Retired early and then helped. Which one lives? George run the shop.
George, yes.
Yes, helps him run the shop.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Cormac.
Ex-cap.
Cormac's the guy who is really into Hermione and is competing with Ron. And he also is competing for Ron's keeper position on the team, which is what he wants. Because just because you were on the team before doesn't mean you can be on the team now.
Likes his chances, catches a fly.
It's like, oh, I don't think you're more of a beater with your form. It has to be, you got to be somebody fast, and he catches a fly. Like, I like my chances. But then Hermione cheats for Ron. Long story short, she uses a confundus charm to make Cormac miss a goal, and Ron gets the position on the team.
I'm just saying, if I was in charge of the team and I saw Cormac's performance and compared it with Ron's performance, even though Cormac missed that one goal, I'd still be like,
yeah, he got it.
Ron's not even on the broom.
Remember that point when he fell off?
He fell off for a long moment, for sure.
I love Harry sitting there like watching, like side-eyeing, like, come on, Ron.
You're embarrassing me.
Get your shit together,
You're
man.
embarrassing me, Ron. But Lavender's loving it.
Yeah.
She is. She's just mooning over Wan constantly.
Wan.
We cut to Hermione. He's really curious about the book, the Half-Blood Prince book that Harry's been using. He's really defensive and protective of it. Doesn't want to let him get it.
It's just precious.
Jenny steals it. And she's like, who's the Half-Blood Prince? That sounds super skep. And he's like, no, what could possibly happen? And then they go off to drink butterbeer to be near Slughorn, I think is Harry's intention, because they're at the Three Broomsticks.
Yeah, he sees him walk by Flitwick, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Flitwick, would you like to come drink with me?" He's like,
I'd love to party.
oh no,
Jesus
I got a
fucking
thing.
You have a reputation. I don't want
Emergency
anything to
band
do with that.
practice.
I know I'm small. I'm not a child. Leave me alone. Don't collect me.
I would very much like to collect you.
And then they spot Malfoy being creepy in the Three Broomsticks as well. And Ron sees Jenny snogging Dean. She's over there snogging Dean.
I'd like to leave.
Yeah, I would like to leave. And this is where Slughorn invites Harry to a private party, and Miss Granger can come as well.
And he's all tipsy. He's like, look for my owl.
Good to see you, Wallenby. I love that.
You'd be welcome to Miss Granger. Good to see you.
But then his wrong name.
I love it when he first walks over. He does like a big "Come, good to see you," and he spills beer all over Hermione. He's like, "Oh, hands on deck, Granger." Someone can handle their butterbeer.
And by the way, Ron's hair.
Did you
Not a fan.
Did you notice Hermione was pounding that butterbeer?
No.
Yeah. When
She can hang?
By the end of the scene, she's the only one that has finished her whole mug.
It's probably a little
and
joke about how
it's full.
uncomfortable she is. Like,
Yeah. Oh, because then they make the joke that she has like the foam all over.
I did,
her.
the foam joke.
Yeah.
The butterbeer mustache on Hermione is what I wrote down.
Yeah.
And we cut to outside. They see this chick flying around like a demon,
Oh, it's so
Exorcist
creepy. I
style,
love it.
and it's Katie Bell, who's on the Quidditch team for Gryffindor, I believe. Then Hagrid shows up out of nowhere.
No one touch her.
I was drunk as fuck a minute ago, but I gotta sober up and get this kid out of here. Don't touch that necklace, except with the wrapping.
Pick up that gun, but don't touch the trigger.
Yeah. Use the wrapping. Just use the wrapping. And then McGonagall, it cuts to her like, why is it always you three? And there's a kind of a meta acknowledgement where Ron's like, I was thinking the same thing.
I get it.
Literally, it's like we're the protagonist or something. Yeah. This shit is always happening right around us. And then Snape examines the evil necklace, as is his new job. And then Harry always does that annoying thing where he's like, it was Malfoy. I just know it.
Somebody went to Jared.
Every kiss begins with kill.
Did we just discover the sequel to All You Need Is Kill?
I think we did. And then, they say that Miss Bell is lucky to be alive. Blah, 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 blah. She must have been cursed. No, she would never carry that necklace. We all know what happens. We cut to Harry laying awake at night, watching the map because nobody believes him that it's Malfoy behind all of this. And he's starting to obsess, as Harry does. And Ron's over there just talking about Dean. Like, hey, he's a good guy. He's awesome.
What's he singing, Ginny? What's he singing her?
Yeah. And then
He says Hermione.
Hermione has nice skin. His skin goes, And
Harry says that about Ginny, and then Ron's like,
she's got nice skin.
Hermione has nice skin too, which is fucking creepy, right?
Well, we're just establishing.
Do you think it puts the lotion on it?
Ew. We're establishing who likes who. You know, we got some motivation.
Oh
now.
no, I get it. There are way more
Steve-
things that aren't creepy than saying,
I don't think it's that creepy.
"Oh, you have nice skin."
To be like 15.
Yeah, nice
Honestly, these kids are what, 15?
Yeah, 16.
To
16.
be 16 and they're saying they have nice skin?
Yeah, that's fair.
Really polite.
Okay,
Laying in a
He didn't-
boy's dorm.
He didn't say she's got fat tits.
I will die on this
I
hill.
knew I could count on
that
you.
Anyone looking at someone and saying, "You have nice skin," is fucking weird.
I would argue if you use that tone, you can't say anything without
That's
being
the
creepy.
tone they were using,
No,
Chris.
they were like sheepishly trying to say their feelings. If I went up to a woman, and you can write in at streamingthingspod@gmail.com. If I know you fairly well and I say, you know what, you have wonderful skin. You have amazing skin. That is not creepy.
That's not creepy. No,
That's a good compliment.
That is not the context we're talking about.
Oh
Chris.
my God.
I don't know. I feel like there is half and half. Like Ron is
So you're
sheepishly
saying, Steve, you're saying, you're saying, if we're
think Harry was
Question
creepy.
Yes.
you and I are having a slumber party.
Question-
I'm late. It's quiet. I'm
Okay.
over there reading
All right.
my map.
Okay.
And I
You're
just
reading
say
it.
out of the blue, hey, Steve,
Yeah. Yeah, Chris.
Andy has really nice skin. That's creepy?
I would be definitely befuddled. Like,
You would think I have a crush on Andy, right?
I would think you wanted to wear Andy.
I don't agree. I think it would be clear I have a crush on Andy,
So
but it
He
wouldn't.
didn't say
This is the
what
context.
size is it.
The context was Ron said, "What does he see in Jenny? What are the things that he values in Jenny?" And he's like, "Well, she's smart. She's pretty. She's got nice skin." Oh, that's weird. That's so weird.
Well, Steve, just for the record, you have nice skin.
That's a lie. But thank you.
We just have to agree to disagree. I think complimenting a man or woman's skin is a nice thing to do. Because it's like their whole epidermis. You know? That's such a big
covers-
compliment.
That covers all of it.
That's almost everything but the other parts.
I don't know, laying in bed and listfully saying she has nice skin is weird.
Hey, man,
Coming up to a friend saying, "Hey, you have great skin." Oh
I
my
think you
God,
should-
not weird.
I think maybe you are being an asshole and you should notice a lady's skin more. They put a lot of effort into it.
They do.
I'm going to flip it on you.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. That's fair.
All that
That's
work
fair.
they be putting in their skin,
That's fair.
I'll be putting a lot of effort in my skin. I want you to notice it. Senpai,
Have you?
I use CeraVe face lotion before I came here,
Can I touch it?
mostly because my skin gets dry in the winter. Yeah.
Ooh,
What do you think?
buttery smooth. Oh my God.
It's like a cup of butterbeer. You're gonna have a butterbeer mustache on later.
Oh my. Hey, Andy.
Where are we at?
What do you think of Chris?
I think he's a great guy.
I like his skin.
Anyway, they have that
The
conversation.
Slughorn party.
We cut to this. We also, I think, have 20 minutes to get through the rest of this movie.
No, we got this.
We got it.
We cut to the dinner at Slughorn's. Cormac's there. Marcus's uncle invented Wolfsbane potion. That's why he's there. Fuck that guy. He eats ice cream way too fast.
Yep.
I think it's ice cream, right?
It looks like it.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
And this is where they.
that kid got murdered
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I
the
do
actor?
remember-
The actor.
No.
He got,
before
like,
the movie
stabbed.
released.
He got stabbed in a bar fight or something.
God, these Harry Potter kids were partying.
Well,
Maybe Radcliffe did have an alcohol problem.
It was a guy. There was this.
I used to
this
buy weed
crazy
off
guy.
Goyle.
No, it was this crazy guy who went after his brother. And
that's terrible.
Him and a bunch of other people tried to subdue the guy. And one person took the knife away, but they didn't realize he had a second knife. And in the struggle, he ended up stabbing him in the head
Jeez.
and killed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
The
and
guy
this-
had two knives.
I didn't know it was in
Yeah.
the head. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it
I
was-
didn't need that image.
It was before the movie came out. Like
That's wild.
it's really sad.
Thanks for that tidbit.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you did your research.
Yeah.
But there is a really neat scene where they're all trying to learn about muggles, especially Slughorn from Hermione. And you slowly realize they have no reference points. And it's really funny. Like, oh, they're dentists. Oh, is that a dangerous job? No, they just work on teeth. Well, he did get bit by a boy one time. That was funny. And she's laughing. And he needed 10 stitches, but they don't know what stitches are. So they're all just looking at her. And it's just let go and let hang. And I like that moment a lot.
Jim Broadbent is genius at like contorting his face. Like he always he's got like his one eyebrow up and he just looks so like
yeah.
It's him and Dwayne Johnson. They're the only two people that can do that.
the people's eyebrow.
Jenny Weasley shows up crying and like Hermione's got the deeds. She's like, oh, she's fighting with Dean again.
Exposition.
You got in.
Harry stands for her like a gentleman from the 19th century. And Hermione has this cute smile of like knowing that he has a crush on her. And
I think we all know at that point.
Yeah. Well, the audience, sure.
Yeah.
I meant the characters. And then Potter hangs back to try to get some info from Slughorn. That's what his job is. And, he's like, yeah, they're unlikely to make the shelf, just shitting on all the dumb kids that were just there. Because he's got this contraption that like the sand runs faster if the conversation is not stimulating. So that's why that came up. And then he's like, did Voldemort, Harry's not good at the spy thing. I just want to say he would never survive doing what Snape's doing. He's just always right on the nose. Like,
he tries to just,
he says like one normal thing. And then he's like, did Voldemort make the shelf?
Yeah.
Come on, man. He's into it, bro.
Don't say his name.
Slughorn immediately gets defensive, and it just says he doesn't know shit about Voldemort.
I love the way that like he gets aggressive. He's like, "Don't say his name!" Like shouts it at him.
Yeah.
Like we haven't gotten that aspect of Slughorn up until this point, and that it's because of like the inner guilt that he has about what
absolutely
he feels like he made him become.
It reminds me of Bilbo's reactions when they like try to take in the early not that one. You want it for yourself, like those ones, out of nowhere kind of shit. And then we cut to Ron eating breakfast in his Quidditch helmet, and everybody's kind of making fun of him in the background. And he's like, hey, did you guys have fun at the Slug Club? He's really mad he wasn't invited, all that kind of stuff. Harry pretends to put liquid luck in his cup.
And Luna sits down with the giant lion head on. It's so cute.
She's the best. I love her.
And then calls Harry out, which is what I don't understand about the scene is she says, what'd you put in Ron's cup? And Harry's plan is incumbent upon Luna doing that. Mm-hmm. So, and Harry's not that smart. He's not a Dumbledore. Like Luna's going to come in and notice and call it. You know what I mean? So anyway, whatever. It's a small thing.
He might have talked to her about it beforehand.
By the way, this whole like fake liquid luck plot is basically what they do in Space Jam when Bugs pretends that the water is like super juice and they all get confidence based on the placebo effect.
Hey, this takes place in the 90s. They probably just watched it over the break.
They did.
Wait, is that the movie with LeBron James? I'm just kidding. God.
Yeah. See my disgusted face. We all watched that together for the podcast. Wasn't that a bad day?
Remember? Yeah. That was awful. That was awful.
Anyway, and of course,
if you want to listen to three grown men cry, listen to that episode.
And of course, they're playing Slytherin because what would be interesting about them playing any other team ever in this movie? And Weasley does so well with all that confidence. And we don't have time for me to gush as much as I wanted to gush, but like it keeps cutting to Hermione, and she's mad that Harry's cheating in her mind, even though she helped him cheat with the Confundus charm. But every time he gets a goal, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, me!" She's like so happy for him. She can't help it. Like she keeps smiling and clapping. Everybody's chanting Weasley, Weasley, which is a super cool sport ball thing to do, I suppose.
Sports.
Harry calls her out in the Confundus charm, tells her that he faked it, and then Lavender kisses Ron, and Hermione gets sick to her stomach and leaves. She's very sad about that. Cut to Hermione crying, and she tells Harry that she knows he likes Jenny. You're my best friend. Of course I know you like Jenny.
Jenny.
And then I guess she has all these magical birds like accompanying her tears because Ron comes up like, hey, what's up with the mental birds? And she says a pugno is the spell she uses and launches all the birds at him. And he gets like, oh, and runs.
There's a moment in the scene that drives me nuts. It's when Harry and Hermione are sitting there kind of having a moment heart to heart. And then Ron and Lavender come up giggling, right? And then Lavender goes, oh, looks like this room's taken. They're not in a room, Lavender.
We just wanted to make out in a hallway.
This is a hallway. There are stairs.
What bothers me about this is the cringy rom-com situation where Hermione says, how does it feel when you see Dean with Ginny? I know how you feel about her. And then all the shit with Ron and Lavender happens. And then Harry sits down and says, it feels like this. Like, it's just so cringy. I can't fucking stand
I've
it.
never noticed you were that sad about Jenny being with Dean until now. But it's cool. I like the moment where he comforts Hermione. You know, he holds her as a friend. It's
Again,
cool.
Hermione and Harry.
I know, man. You're shipping them, but it's not going to happen.
Ship it. I don't believe this Ron
Look at her
bullshit.
skin, Harry.
If only Harry truly appreciated her skin.
Yeah, a whole different movie.
And this is where we get the cool shot that I talked about at the beginning where Harry's holding Hermione and then you see Ron and Lavender snogging in the tower and then it ends on Draco up in the tower before it pans to the wide shot.
Dope shot.
very cool shot. We cut to Ron being a super douche. This next note say Ron sucks on your end, Steve? Okay. Because it's just him going, I can't help it if she's got her knickers in a twist. I'm a free agent. I get to snog whoever. They all want me or whatever, right?
When did Ron become Austin Powers?
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Everything is about love at Hogwarts, baby.
It's not mine. It's not my bag. One novel titled "That Very Much Is My Bag, Baby." Harry wanted to go to the Slughorn Christmas party with Hermione as friends. She's like, "Oh, I wish I'd have thought of that. I made other arrangements." And so she suggests he get his own date. And he's like, "Hey, how about Romilda Vane? She's really into me." And Hermione's like, "No, she only wants you because you're the chosen one." And he's like, "But I am the chosen one." I laughed so hard.
That's good.
That's a good moment. She like hits him with I think the paper that she's holding hits him on the head. Like, it's so good.
Again, they're adorable.
They are. But Emma Watson crushed it in this movie. This is her best performance so far.
I love how he says, like, I guess I'll ask someone cool.
And then it cuts to Luna.
It's Luna.
She is cool.
Yeah.
It's cool as fuck.
I ship them too.
And I didn't write down her line, but she's walking through the hallway, something like, "That's why I always wear shoes when," and I just knew it was creepy. Oh, because she sleepwalks. Is that why? That's why I always wear shoes to bed.
And then you get a surprise Draco cameo.
He's just sitting in that corner and then goes to be creepy with the closet thing again. And I think it's him using the spell Harmonia Nectura Passus. I believe he's like putting an apple in there and shit. We find out later he's just fixing the vanishing cabinet and making sure that the objects he puts in are arriving at Borgin and Burke's. And we cut to Neville serving at the Christmas party. What the fuck is up with that? Because he was at the ice cream one.
Yeah, but he didn't make the cut.
He didn't make the cut, so now he's just gonna serve. Why would he do that?
Neville hasn't discovered self-respect yet.
I don't have anything cool. I'm not going to play my game gear or anything cool. I'm just going to come serve at this party for no money, which is super weird.
I just want to go stand around and be super awkward in front of my
I'm going to go
friends.
serve alcohol to the other children at this adult party. That's what I want to do with my Friday night. Hermione's hiding. She hates that she brought Cormac, and she's hiding behind she left him under the mistletoe. I guess he tried to catch her there. By the way, why do wizards celebrate Christmas? Did they believe in Jesus?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Jesus, Christmas is a fun time for all, buddy.
I just thought it was interesting.
There are presents,
English,
there are trees. You know? It's a pagan holiday. We can all get down.
That's true. That's true. And there's a snarfalump plant. I don't know why I wrote that down other than that the name's really cool. Dude, Cormac is so fucking creepy. She runs from the curtain because he's coming. And then he pops behind the curtain and sees Harry and he goes, "Slippery little Manx, your friend." Like that's a creepy thing to say, Steve.
Oh, yeah, it is.
If he'd have said, "She has really nice skin," I would have been fine. But he said, "Slippery little Manx," like he's the fucking Pepe Le Pew running around this party.
Oh, Cormac is definitely a sex pest for sure.
And Harry's like, "You're eating Dragon Balls."
Yeah, somebody offers whatever they really are to Hermione, and they're like, "Oh, it'll give you bad breath," and she starts snarfing him down.
Yeah, maybe that'll keep him away.
Keep him away. And so when he starts eating it, he like doesn't even care. He's like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
it's Dragon Balls.
Dragon Balls.
And he vomits on Snape.
Right on Snape's shoes.
Dragon tartare, so I think that would mean raw dragon meat.
I think so.
Ew.
Dragon Balls is funnier.
Hagrid was very upset.
He was.
One of my oldest friends, he was.
Cormac vomits on Snape, gives him detention for a month. "Not so quick, Potter. I have a message to impart to you." Dumbledore's traveling is what he tells him. And then he just leaves Harry with that. And then Filch busts in. He caught Malfoy lurking about upstairs. And leave me alone, you fucking squib. And Draco.
I thought Mrs. Norris was around.
And Snape did the unbreakable vow, so he saves Malfoy from that trouble, grabs him, talks to him in the hallway, and they have an argument. "I can do it. This is my moment.
I'm the chosen one.
I don't need your help." And then Harry's listening into all of this, which is weird because you think that a powerful wizard like Snape would have some sort of "people can't hear me" charm.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. And this is where Ron explains what an unbreakable vow is to Harry in the next scene. You can't break an unbreakable vow. And
for what it's worth, the "people can't hear me" spell is muffliato. That is a thing.
Right. Why wouldn't they use that?
Oh,
Muffliato. That's the name of my new band, by the way. Lavender's insane. She's like blowing on the glass in the train.
I fucking love that.
They really draw that out to be, and I love, there's a moment, I don't know if you caught this.
It again.
It cuts back to Harry and Ron, and Harry's like pulling a piece of the armchair down out of the seat, like pretending not to, like doing the awkward shit you do when you're
I don't think I
trapped.
should be here.
Yeah. Oh, damn. What does this receipt say? You know, that kind of stuff. Like, I loved it.
dude.
She just wants to snog me.
And all she wants to do
My
is
lips are
snog.
chapped. Look.
Yeah. Like he would be tired of that. Hermione sees the love note. She's about to come into the cabin and like apologizes, the vibe I get. And then she sees that and gets mad again.
What's her problem?
And then we find out when you break an unbreakable vow, you die. They finished that convo. We cut to Remus and Tonks. Everybody's at the Weasleys for Christmas, I think. And Remus and Tonks are talking to Harry, and they're saying that they trust Snape, which is so funny.
Sorry, my notes. I just realized my autocorrect changed Tonk's names to Tony's.
Remus and
Tony's.
And Arthur's just awkwardly. He's just awkwardly watching the convo with a pillow in his lap. I sent that picture to you guys. Really funny to me. Ginny's feeding Harry like a sweet treat, and then Ron comes and sits between them. Love that moment. Pie, and just quietly ruins the moment.
He has conservatively 20 pies.
I love it.
Easy, gonna eat them all. We cut to Arthur and Harry talking about the tough times that they're in, and then that's where we find out what a fucking vanishing cabinet is. It's the MacGuffin kind of. And it's still,
I love the way he says
there.
vanishing cabinet.
Vanishing cabinet.
Cabinet.
Cabinet. Vanishing cabinet. God, those English people, I love the way they speak. Then we cut to Tonks and Remus leaving because Remus is about to turn into a werewolf, and it's super important that they get out of there. And then Ginny's tying Harry's shoe, wearing a robe. Things are getting steaming up pretty quick. And then Merry Christmas, Harry. And then outside bursts into flames. Death Eaters arrive. Bellatrix is there. And I guess that's Fenrir.
Yes.
Mr. Greyback to you.
That's Greyback.
Harry chases her because he's mad at her about killing Sirius, right? Which is her whole plan, I assume, to lure them out. I hate this sequence, by the way. It's my only problem with the movie.
Yeah, this sequence is maddening.
Ginny makes it through the fire that none of the talented, strong wizards that run this shit can get through. Weird. And I killed Sirius Black. Love Helena Bonham Carter's performance as always. And then there's this dumbass moment where I like that Ginny blocks Fenrir's spell, and then her and Harry are together just blocking all the spells. And then all of a sudden, Remus, Tonks, and Arthur do show up. Nobody can do any. I was ranting with my wife, and this is, I know we don't have time for my bullshit, but my only problem with this whole series of movies is that battle magic is so fucking lame for no reason. Stupefy, Expelliarmus, Avada Kedavra, Stupefy. No, you know all kinds of shit. Why didn't you drink some cool potion like a Witcher beforehand? Like you got Remus, Arthur, and Tonks just standing there like terrified at the stalks of corn. Fucking fly and see where they are. Like you're a literal wizard. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're just waiting. I'm sorry I'm getting so upset, but
No,
like,
it's okay.
this scene could be so cool.
Is this the rant you were talking about?
Well, yeah, I have more, but yeah.
Okay, or the tirade. So canonically, they can't fly. That's something that suddenly appeared in the
Wingardium Fitiosa. They could float.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's on your fucking feet.
Yeah.
I know. I agree with you. Like they could be doing so
Or
much
like
with this scene.
Animos Revelio. Or
Or like they do something to like cut the fucking corn stalks. Something.
Yes, Sectum Sempra, and cut all the corn down.
Yeah.
Why is Molly's house? Like they just fly away and explode the Weasley's house is how this scene ends, right? That's very sad. I get it.
I love
How is
that
there not
Arthur-
a protection against that?
Arthur immediately is just like Molly and goes fucking bolting.
Acting's great.
Love that.
But I just wonder why the house wouldn't be protected from explodies. That should be the first thing you do as a wizard is
I
protect
feel
your
like-
house from explodies.
I feel like I don't know what I'm going to say to defend it is that like the protection was lost when the family left the house. That's what I'm going to say, but I don't know if that's true.
That's fair. That's fair. I just like there's such an opportunity in these films for the battle magic, or in the books even too, like for the battle magic to be so cool. Like when two wizards duel, it's the only time it's ever cool is when Severus Snape is doing it, right?
Or Dumbledore.
And Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Severus Snape and Dumbledore are cool when they fight. But what it should be like is like when you fight a duel with a wizard, what I would like to see, do you guys watch the Sandman show at all?
No.
Doesn't matter. We'll scratch that then. What it would be cool is like, instead of these wordless spells that are all just like formless gray energy, like the fucking the wooden floorboards turn into snakes and start to climb up the one wizard's legs, and that wizard takes the snakes and slings them at the other guy, and they turn into knives halfway through the air. And you know what I mean? Like this super genius creative level battle of like who is more creative and intelligent and quick. like a rap battle or something. And then, but one of them gets mom spaghetti and dies, you know, that's what I would like to see.
Oh no, mom spaghetti.
Anyway, that's my rant that I wish was more Q. But anyway, yeah. So the whole fucking thing, I don't know why nobody Avada Kedavras. It just doesn't make any sense to me. This whole scene, like just Avada Kedavra through the grass. And you know what I mean? Like Remus is done. But they just blow up the house instead. And that's the end of that scene.
Well, I think they're trying to get Harry, not trying to kill him. They're trying to lure him out.
Because he's for the Dark Lord.
Yes.
That's what they say at the end. Hermione chides Harry for running out there, I think. And my next note is Hermione chides Harry 1-1. So I fucked that up. And then we get the memory. We get a memory of Tom, Riddle, and Slughorn, but it's the edited memory. It's the one that Slughorn doctored up to where he actually refuses to help him.
Fucking loved young Tom Riddle here, dude. He's so good. Whoever that kid is.
This is Ralph Fiennes' nephew or different? This is an older kid.
This is an older kid. Yeah.
It's his cousin. It's the whole Fiennes family.
It's Ray Fiennes.
It's Joseph Fiennes. This is before Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, this is Ralph Fiennes.
This is that Ralph Fiennes I've heard so much about.
Yeah, this is creepy Tom asking about Horcruxes, but we don't find that out yet.
Yeah.
Dumbledore wants to persuade Slughorn Harry to persuade Slughorn to give him the real version of this memory. That's his main job. We need this. Otherwise, we have no chance to beat Voldemort. So then he goes to Slughorn and he basically says the whole same exact thing that Riddle said, which is like a terrible idea for a spy. Again, I can't stress enough how bad Harry is at this. He just quotes Riddle word for word. Yeah. Are there some kinds of magic you're not allowed to teach us?
Section.
Yeah, the whole thing. And then he's like, getting really bad PTSD right now, Harry. Last time someone asked me this, a lot of people died. But he gets angry and says, Dumbledore put you up to this, didn't he? Didn't he? And Broadbent's amazing during this, but he ultimately refuses Potter and starts hiding from him for the rest of the movie. We cut to Ron gushing over how beautiful the moon is.
It's gorgeous.
And he's eating a bunch of snacks that Harry was sent. I ate some of his snacks.
My favorite acting in this movie is when people are drugged up. Ron when he's taking the love potion, and then Harry when he takes the Felix Felicis.
I love Harry when he takes the Felix. Good. That's great. But we figure out pretty quickly that Romilda Vane had put a love potion in these snacks, and Ron ate them all. So he's obsessed with Romilda Vane now. And Harry uses
punches Harry when Harry's like, "Do you even fucking know her? Like, yeah. What are you doing?"
And he's like, "What do you mean? Can you introduce me?" Really good line. And then Harry has a spark of inspiration, decides to take Ron to see Slughorn as an excuse to talk to him, to get a cure from him. And then,
what's the matter with Wimby?
What's the matter with Wimby? A third version of his name. So then he cures him of the love potion and says, you need to pick me up, my boy. And then offers them more liquor. And I was thinking to myself, Andy's like, hell yeah.
Let's go.
And then Ron gets poisoned by the liquor. And then Harry uses a Bezoar, which is something we learned about in the first movie, right?
Yeah.
One of the questions Snape asks.
Mm-hmm. What's a Bezoar?
Dang, that's a deep cut. Because when they were like, good thinking with the Bezoar, Harry, I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
So in the book, there's some super complicated antidote for some poison that they're studying, and the Half-Blood Prince had scratched everything out and said, just give him a stick of Bezoar down his throat. And so Harry is in some class and losing his shit. About to like fail this class or whatever, and then he reads that note, and then he hands that into Slughorn, and Slughorn like laughs and he's like, "Oh, what cheek!" And so Harry like gets a good grade or whatever. So anyway,
in the book, that's how he learns that.
That's the book.
Okay.
In the movie, he just does that, and they say, "Good thinking."
And Ron wakes up.
Respect it.
I like the line where these girls are gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Because he's just too much of a ladies' man. It's stressing him out.
Also, really good acting when like he takes the antidote for the love potion. Like you see his fucking face fall, and he is like, "I feel really bad." It's like he's coming down off coke or something.
Yeah,
like you just like you can tell he feels sick.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And this next scene is so good. Like when he wakes up in the hospital. And Dumbledore is proud of Harry for the Bezoar, I think is how he says it. And they find out that the gifted bottle was poisoned. Lavender shows up, and there's this whole argument with Lavender and Hermione. Like, you're not his friend. You haven't talked to him in weeks, because she's jealous, right? And Hermione's jealous, right? Yeah. They're both fighting over Ron, which would never happen. But let's willing suspension of disbelief. No. The whole thing that makes this so funny is you can see Michael Gambon and Alan Rickman and everybody just staring at Lavender, and like the whole idea that with Voldemort and everything going on, that they would just be like so like, ugh. And then this is where he's all Dumbledore-y, right? He says, "Oh, to be young and feel love's keen sting," when she runs off crying.
Very good.
But like when Ron asked for Hermione, Emma Watson's so good. It's so dumb. It's played for comedy. I cried a little bit.
I love that. I happen to be his friend.
Yeah.
You know,
I've always found him interesting.
Yeah.
what's she doing here?
Yeah. And then they say,
I
oh,
might ask you the same thing.
let's leave here. Mr. Weasley is well tended. Like I love this whole scene so much. We cut to fucking Draco using that damn cabinet again. We get it. He's up there cabineting. And then Lavender's staring at Ron. He doesn't remember why they broke up. You know, that was all a blackout. And Hermione kind of stumbles over how to explain it, and just stop me if I miss anything important.
And she's like crestfallen because he doesn't remember. She's like, you don't remember anything? He's like, there is one thing, but no, it couldn't be. So he kind of remembers.
No, it couldn't.
No, it
Not
couldn't
that.
be. We weren't snogging, were we?
Right.
And then Katie Bell is back. She says she can't remember how she got cursed, but then she looks really long at Malfoy as if she does remember that it was him.
And Malfoy sees that he's talking to her and is like, shit, the jig is up.
He's telling the cops kid who wants to be a cop.
The juice is loose.
The jig is up. Cheese it. It's the fuzz.
And then fucking Draco's like, get the fuck out, get the fuck out. It's insane. Like the reactions that like, she says, I have no fucking idea. And she's like,
Yeah.
and then he's like,
I guess he has like a
For audio listeners, Andy's making like, I'm
making
looking
faces.
at you, someone faces.
Yes.
it's just like, there's no mystery to it whatsoever. Like even fucking Dumbledore at the head table should be like, oh, that's what happened.
Aha. And Malfoy's crying in the bathroom. He's pulling his best moaning Myrtle, which I think is a good scene. Steve does a shockingly good Myrtle. And then they start throwing wordless spells and and then he uses Sectum Sempra.
There's words.
That's how Daniel talks, Daniel Radcliffe.
Looks like he got a shotgun blast to the chest off that.
In the book, I thought it was like a magic sword that like sliced Draco.
Yeah, it's like slice the like a bunch of skin off them.
But it's like a shotgun blast in the movie. Yeah. And we find out is the Half-Blood Prince's spell for enemies. Snape comes in and he's like, oh God, that's my shit you did. And he says, Volnura Sanentur.
I won't tell anybody this happened.
And Harry gets in no trouble for attempted murder on a fellow student.
Yeah, he shotgunned Malfoy in the bathroom, and Snape's like,
Get out of here. Yeah, I did it all the time. This kid does suck.
That actually kind of makes sense because people will be like, what the fuck did you do to him? He's like, I got it from this fucking book. And people are going to be like, let me see that book. And they're going to be like, oh shit, that's Snape's handwriting.
Well, I don't think anybody knows that he's the Half-Blood Prince. But why he just kept it in like the student pile of books is got a little weird.
Yeah, why has no student found this?
Because they don't want the shitty one.
Yeah,
there's never been that
shitty one.
Sometimes you'd be in a class and there's only 26 students, but sometimes there'd be 32.
Sorry, forgive me. Why do you think the binding's fragile? Because I assume other people used it.
No, because it's old from when Snape was a kid. God, Father Time.
And Filch didn't. When did we update these books?
No, he's definitely not in charge of that.
Probably get rid of this.
I'm just a squib. I can't even read.
This one is the Half-Blood Pinch. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. It's some kind of cleaning recipe.
I don't know what that is.
And then cut to the Ginny and the gang because Harry's shocked at what he's done.
Book intervention.
Yeah, they tell him he's got to get rid of the book. They decide to hide the book in the room of requirement.
Get rid of the book whenever I want.
Yeah,
I just don't want to get rid of it right now.
Can I read the book on weekends? I just need a little bit. I need to read a little bit before I go to work.
A couple pages.
And then there's a really good score while Ginny grabs the book from Harry. She tells him to close his eyes so that he won't be tempted to see where she's hiding the book. And then she kisses him. And then she says something like, do you want to hide me in the room of requirement? Which was either euphemism, I thought.
You can leave that up here too if you'd like or something.
Talking about his wiener? Sorry, it wasn't even her mouth. It wasn't even. It wasn't even. It's called me the room of requirement. Never mind. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. And then what did I say?
What did you say?
Ron in the next scene. I'm trying to read my note. Ron in the next scene is like, did you and Ginny do it then? And Harry goes, what? hide the book. Oh, yeah, for sure. And then Slughorn runs into Harry and like freaks out, like,
I gotta go.
and just runs away. And then I guess I put a note, Harry's not in trouble for almost killing Malfoy? No. And then Harry decides, Ron's like, oh, I hope you have better luck with that later. Harry remembers he's got the Felix Felicitas potion and decides to drink that. And they have this like whole well-laid plan of what to do after he drinks the potion. But as soon as he gets high on the potion, he goes, I'm going down to Hagrid's.
I have a really good feeling about that.
Yeah, I love it. And they're just like,
I love when he walks out the doorway. He's
Hi.
like, hi.
it's like ecstasy. That's how I remember that feeling.
It is 100% ecstasy.
He just feels so good about every decision and everybody. Hello.
I love how he creeps up to Horace.
Like, sorry about that. Should have introduced myself.
just-
Coughed.
Hello.
Cleared my throat.
Yeah, because on the way down the Hagrid's, he sees. So not only is
Merlin's
Slughorn
beard.
weird about like nepotism and like finding important children to like help him out later in life, all that shit, right? But he's apparently also a thief that sells shit on the black market.
Yeah, it's
like
awesome.
clipping tentacula leaves.
Purely academic, of course.
Purely academic, of course. And then he reverse psychologizes him into going down to Hagrid's with him. Hagrid's over there mourning the death of Aragog and Acromantula. And of course, Slughorn's an asshole. So immediately he's like, can I harvest some of its venom purely for academic purposes?
Well, he don't need it no more.
And then there's a funny scene where Daniel Radcliffe or Harry Potter's like, not to mention the pincers.
I imagine it. So, yep.
And then, by the way, it's the second.
Wait, do you want me to say a few words?
Yeah, he had a family, I trust. And then Harry goes, oh, yeah, because he had hundreds of children.
Potted. Aragog, your body will decay. I love the way it's like sing song.
Yeah.
Jim Broadbent, man.
He's the best.
And then he decides to get fucking wasted with Hagrid in mourning, but somehow outhangs the half giant.
Yep. Awesome.
Hagrid passes out.
Horace parties, man.
And then he talks about Francis, his fish that he loves so much.
Favorite scene in all of Harry Potter.
This scene. And then we
It's a
find
good
out that
one.
he got the fish from Lily, which was a magical fish. So when she died is when the fish disappeared.
What I love about it is it introduces the concept of creative magic. Like when he says it was beautiful magic, wondrous to behold, the idea that people can take magic, which seemingly is almost like, I mean, it's the opposite of it, but science, like you say a thing happens. But to use the concept of magic and do something creative and unique with it, that people do unique and unusual.
Yeah, like even a
things
professor
with
had
it.
never seen
Exactly.
this type of spell.
So
right?
that was what was so beautiful. And the acting by Jim Broadbent in this situation is fucking prima.
He's so scared to let Harry see the memory he needs to see because it's going to ruin his reputation potentially, right? And he's like, be brave, like Lily. Like, don't let her death be in vain. It's a powerful scene. And ultimately, he does show him the actual memory. And then we see the Horcrux and how creepy ass young Tom Riddle was like, oh, okay, so it's
And it
when
better split your soul into 7 pieces.
yeah, what about 7? And Jim, or not Jim, Jim.
Jim.
Slughorn's like 7. Jesus
I'm
Christ, boy.
I have a couple questions about this flashback scene.
Yeah.
So I understand that Horace thinks it's going to ruin his reputation because he could conceive like, oh, I'm the one that gave him the idea of what a Horcrux is, but he's already kind of researched it. So, but I also don't understand why do they need this memory?
He taught him how to do it, and Dumbledore had the idea that Voldemort might have made Horcruxes. There's other ways that you can prevent yourself from dying, but that's what he believes. Most important thing that we got out of this is that Voldemort wanted 7 of them.
Yeah. Dumbledore wasn't entirely certain that it was Horcruxes.
Okay.
But he was pretty sure. That's why he was hunting the ring and
the
stuff.
The seven makes sense.
The
too.
7
Yeah.
thing was super clutch. Yeah, and that's why Dumbledore's flustered, aghast, because he didn't know there were 7. Right now he's like, oh shit, I thought I was maybe 3.
6. The 7 pieces of the soul, 6 Horcruxes,
Right.
and Voldemort.
But there's 8. And then that's how we find out that's how his hand was hurt, which is from trying to destroy the ring. I believe he put it on in a weakness of curiosity, right?
Yeah, because of his sister. He wanted to see her.
And then Dumbledore wants to take Harry with him to find a 3rd Horcrux. Why not? Take the child. And Severus doesn't want to do something, but we know that it's kill him that he's being asked to do. And Dumbledore's like, I don't remember asking you if
For your fucking opinion.
Yeah. Did anybody hold on? Did anybody remember me saying I gave a fuck what Severus wanted?
Oh, who got Lily killed? Oh, weird that.
Weird. Yeah. Do what the fuck you're told, greasy boy. And then Dumbledore says that he's being mawkish. I don't know what that means. I just wanted to write that down.
Mawkishness is meaning sentimental but feebly. Feebly
I apologize for being feebly sentimental, Harry.
Yes.
You sure you're not into Miss Granger?
She has nice skin.
Did we have this conversation before? I feel like we did.
Harry, you can come with me, but you have to do everything I say, no matter what it is. Is that cool?
You know Harry Potter's not going to do shit.
He did everything he told, man. He followed it painfully. One of his worst memories.
The one time.
Even if it's to leave me to die and save yourself, you must do it, Harry. Promise me. Promise me, Ned.
Promise me, Ned.
We cut to the cave.
This is just the best of Dumbledore that we're passing over, and we have to for time. But I just want to point it out, the best of Dumbledore. Go on.
Just in generically best of Dumbledore.
Like where we are now and what we get over the next,
absolutely.
Yeah.
The rest of
the next
this
20 minutes.
Incredible Dumbledore action. We cut to the cave. That was actually a picture of that in young Tom Riddle's room in the orphanage, which is a detail that I caught and shared with you guys.
Solid.
And then
Did you know there were 7 rocks in there as well?
Dumbledore slices his hand for payment to get into the caves, what he says. And there's a bunch of little allusions to this about Harry being more important than Dumbledore.
Okay, he says, I'm far clever and far less valuable.
Why don't you let me slice my hand? Yeah. Well, that's about the drinking in the water, but even outside the cave,
okay. You don't have good enough skin. That's why I didn't.
And there's a whole sequence where they get in, they see the Horcrux kind of in the distance, but they can't get to it, or what they think is the place to get the Horcrux, surrounded by water that looks none too good to get into. And then Dumbledore does some like wordless magic, and a giant chain hops into his hand, and then he's like, pull it, boy. That's why I bought you. You're the muscle. And Harry pulls the boat out of under the water, and they take the little dinghy to the drinky fountain. Dumbledore knows what's up. He's like, hey,
with your dinghy.
This is this is some skep juice. And Dumbledore decides
Is that a Tommy Boy reference?
It is.
yeah, you have to make God damn it, Steve. You have to make sure I finish drinking this no matter what I do. And this is a horrifying sequence.
It's fucked up.
So well acted by Michael Gambon, because
He's crying like a little baby. Dude.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's terrible.
It's so good.
We know not what it's doing to him, but it's not good.
It's horrific.
And then Harry's
I hate Mountain Dew
just
pitch
one
black.
more.
I wanted to edit this into a video of some liquor that I didn't like or something, but it's just
Mountain
as
Dew
it is.
Pitch Black is hysterical.
Yeah, that's
though. I
way
love that.
funnier. So he finishes drinking it. They get what they think is the Horcrux, and then a bunch of zombies pop up out of the water.
In Fury.
In Fury, that's right. And then they drag Harry down into the cold, dark water, and
then
Dumbledore's kind of almost.
Dumbledore at his fucking weakest is still this powerful. It's so dope.
It's so epic. All the fire of craziness, and then even the one little fire jolt that goes down to snipe the one that's on Harry. You know,
Headshot.
I played so much Call of Duty. Use caution, though. Hey, video games can be addicting.
GG, guys.
And then they apparate back to Hogwarts, which I didn't think you could apparate to Hogwarts, but maybe Dumbledore can do whatever the fuck he wants.
As he tells Harry, there is some benefits to being me.
Oh, that's right. One of them is this cool hand. And then Dumbledore says to go get Severus, not Madame Pomfrey at first, and then says to hide because he hears people approaching, right? Turns out that it's Draco. He knows he's there to assassinate him. Draco, you're not an assassin. I don't know why I always do my shitty Dr. Brenner.
Draco disarms Dumbledore. That's important later.
That is important.
Expelliarmus. Because the Elder Wand can't be beat.
And I love the acting here too. He it looks like he just lets it happen. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oops. I dropped my wand. Oops.
Because he couldn't fucking disarm Dumbledore. That would
Oops.
never
Dropped
happen.
my wand. Guess I gotta pick it up, Draco. Are you trying to seduce me, Headmaster? You're not going to distract me again. And then Bella and all her friends, Fenrir and them, show up as well.
I just want to say a huge waste of talent in the scene because Ralph Ineson plays Amicus, one of the Death Eaters, and he's barely in this movie.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, but it's Ralph Ineson.
He sure does.
Wow.
And when I saw him in the back, I'm like, is that fucking Ralph? And I went on IMDb. I'm like, why did they hire him?
They didn't know who he was yet, man.
This is Ralph fucking Ineson.
This
He's
is
got
pre
one of the
The
coolest
Witch.
He
voices
just needed
ever.
to speak once. You
That's
know
true.
who he is.
That's true. He should have played Fenrir.
Should have.
And then ultimately, Draco is really unable to do it. He doesn't want to do what he's got to do. And Snape arrives. Dumbledore says, Severus, please, which means something other than what it looks like to Harry, right? Because it looks like he's begging for his life, but he's actually saying, please kill me, right? This is the plan that I have to do it. So for listeners, as I recall, the curse that he got from the ring was going to kill Dumbledore regardless, right? It was creeping up his body.
They'll reveal that in about 2 movies from now.
And the plan, okay. So I think I remember. I don't remember why he needed to be disarmed. Maybe
it's the Elder One.
If the Elder One would fuck anybody up that tried to hit him anyway.
Well, the Elder One listens to whoever the owner is. The owner is whoever.
Oh, and he didn't want
in combat. So technically, the owner of the Elder One at this point moving forward is Draco.
Wands ain't got no loyalty.
Not Snape, because they think it's Snape because he killed Dumbledore, but he did not disarm Dumbledore.
Oh, okay.
But it's actually Draco is the one who is the owner of the Elder Wand.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for walking me back through that. And then there's a really cool scene. I love this scene. This is why I love Bellatrix so much. Dumbledore says to hide. He dies. Horrible scene, right? Oh no, Dumbledore. Dumbledore, no. Harry's horrified, but does behave himself for Harry. But he does chase after, tries to fight Snape, and Snape, knowing what he knows, is just effortlessly defending himself. Yeah. Get away, little bitch.
He's a bad motherfucker.
Get away. I love it. He's so good. But he's like, Snape, why won't you fight me, you coward? And then Bellatrix is like, what? Jumps out of nowhere like, I will. I love her. He's like, ow.
Fuck.
And then
Snape's for the Dark Lord.
He's for the Dark Lord, obviously. And then he tries to hit him with
Snape a coward. It's sad because Snape is the bravest man he ever met.
He's being so brave. The listeners get really mad when we praise Snape because he's got other issues, but he does have some good qualities.
Here's the thing: somebody that is bad but not evil can be an interesting character.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Indeed. That's actually the best kind of character because that's how most people are, right? Never met a perfect person in my damn life. And he's a super imperfect person. Yeah. His skin is perfect, but nothing else. Then he tries to hit him with Sectum Sempra. And then Snape, that's too much for Snape. Try to hit me with my own spell.
This movie's named after me.
Yeah, I'm the Half-Blood Prince, right?
I'm the star of this movie.
And then
Big Dick Snape.
Big Dick Snape. And we cut to everybody mourning Dumbledore.
They're all sad.
All very sad. They do like the lighters at a Led Zeppelin concert move with their wands, but dispelling the Death Eater skull. Also, the physical acting of Bellatrix when she casts the Death Eater mark in the sky, like the way that she contorts her body and like crooks her. I'm being silly, but like the details like that.
Goes, yes.
You know, it's a weird little.
Isn't she like stomping on all the tables and kicking?
Yeah, she's kicking breaking all the glass. Like she's having a blast. So they actually break all the windows. And then I guess they kill a random guy who is in the hallway. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think that was like one of the aurors or something.
He catches, oh yeah, you're right. It was an auror. Like he just walks in like, and they're like, ah. I just thought that was neat.
Sleeping.
Yeah. And then we see that the locket is not actually a Horcrux when all 3 of the children, like Hermione, Ron, and Harry are standing together. It's not actually a Horcrux. It's got a note inside it that says, hey, this used to be a Horcrux, but I got it. I want Voldemort. He thinks he's talking to Voldemort in the note. I want you to be mortal when they fight you. R.A.B.
Oh, who could that be?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's Regulus Black.
Maybe. I think it's a rabbi.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
What the hell? But I don't remember. Honestly, I'm guessing. I don't remember a lot of this stuff, but I'm almost positive that's Regulus Black just because of the mention at the beginning of the movie. But I don't remember the context of any of that or why that goes down. And then Harry's like, I'm not coming back to school. I'm just like Draco in the beginning of this movie in the train. Next year, I got shit to do that's more important. And Hermione's literally like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. Like we always hang out together. We're all doing whatever you're doing.
You're my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're super important characters.
I have super nice skin.
Oh, Ron's there.
Obviously,
Shit. Oh, what are you doing back there, Ron?
You guys are mental.
Ron, are you contributing back there? No.
I'm only going to go with you guys because I hate school.
What's super crazy about this ending?
Lavender's going to snog me again.
Every Harry Potter novel and movie, I think, ends with like Harry sitting with Dumbledore and kind of going over the events that have happened in the last year. And kind of this is the Stan and Kyle turn to the camera and say, what I learned today moment.
Yeah.
And this is the only one where it doesn't happen. And it's so effective that they do that because it like reaffirms like the loss of
the
Dumbledore
void
and
of
how
Dumbledore.
important it is. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I got to say, like I said at the top of the
They
show.
even do it in the 7th one after he's dead. You still get it, but this is the only one you don't. It's so good.
What about the 8th one?
Well, it's the 7th book.
So you're counting the last movie.
I'm talking about the train station. Yeah. But anyway, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, like I said at the top, this is such a good Harry Potter movie. This is a fucking...
I do think it ends kind of weird.
At worst.
Like the last shot's weird.
I know. I wish it had a giant version of Daniel Radcliffe's face paused on a broom.
That would be ideal. Yeah. Yay.
But that's how I like mine to end.
Wait, how does it end? What's the last shot?
It's just a shot of the three of them. Their backs are to the camera, and you can kind of see the environment behind them. It's just kind of like, and Harry goes, "I never realized how pretty this was," and then it's a shot from behind them, and you don't really see what.
Wait, is this where we get the Hermione line? Like everything's about to change? Isn't it? No,
that does not happen in this movie.
Oh shit. Okay.
But yeah, he says like, I've never realized how pretty this is. And then it's like
you see Fawkes the Phoenix is like one of the last shots.
That's before that.
Beautiful.
That's before that. But I still think like they should have gone to an exterior shot or something because it just kind of like,
they were talking about their skin, Steve. They were. It's very obvious.
Hermione was between the two of them.
I've never realized how beautiful this is. And he's rubbing.
All right, we have a few minutes. We do have some questions from Discord we're going to answer. We're going to zip through them, all right? You ready?
Ready.
All right, this first one comes in from Stanton. He writes, if you could look at only one potion in the Half-Blood Prince's potion book, basically assured success, which would y'all choose and why?
If we could look at a potion?
Yeah, like what potion would you make out of this book?
Definitely.
Felix Felicis.
Yeah, certain, without a doubt, Felix Felicitas.
That's the good luck.
That's liquid luck.
Yes.
Liquid Liznuk.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Kayla writes, if you could invent a spell, what would the spell do? Any idea for what it might be called or what the incantation would be?
Skinniest Nicius.
What would it do?
It'd make your skin real nice.
There you go.
I would do a spell where I could speak and understand any language.
That'd be dope.
And it would be lingua...
Linguis totalis.
Yeah, linguis totalis. I like that, Andy.
I would do one called emptiest calories, and it would just make everything empty calories, so I could eat all I want and stay thin.
No, you don't want empty calories.
Everything becomes Lay's potato.
The opposite of that then.
Just 0 calorie.
Actually, you know what? I want I want the Lay's potato chips.
I always want mine. So you could prank other people. Ha ha! Turn everything into a potato.
That's not salad. That's Lay's.
Crunch.
Let's see. Jordan writes, what are your feelings towards Draco Malfoy in this movie? I got dangerously close to feeling bad for him. Why do you think he stopped himself from pulling the trigger to kill Dumbledore?
So real quick, I have lots of thoughts on this, which I will not get into because we were pressed for time on the watch along party. But I did have a discussion with my wife because she said, he got best villain this year when this movie came out in the Teen Choice Awards. He was voted best villain. And I said, that's funny because he's not even a villain. And she's like, well, he's definitely the villain. And I was like, he's definitely not. He's a kid who's been manipulated and abused his entire life and is now being manipulated by the most evil person on the planet into doing something he doesn't want to do out of fear for the safety of himself and his family. And she's like, yeah, but he's the antagonist of this movie. And I was like, he's not. Yeah. He's actually one of the biggest victims. That's my take for sure.
Agreed. I mean, he is like doing bad things, but he's doing bad things under duress.
He's a
and
kid.
That doesn't make him the villain.
Like he sucks the entire time. But when you find out where he comes from, it's like, how could he not suck?
But to respond, I feel fucking terrible for him. He's and so like when he's crying and shit, and
yes,
like I was chosen. It's like Snape standing there like, no, you were chosen to die to punish your dad. Is what you were chosen for.
Yep.
So
that scene where he fights Harry is awesome and terrible for me because it's like he never shows weakness. He's crying like a baby because that's what he wants to do. And the person that he hates most, like the person he would like to see him cry least, is standing there. That's why he gets
You're
so
most
angry.
Vulnerable, and Elon Musk walks in.
I agree with you guys.
There you go.
Well said. And that was all the questions.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Well, I'm sorry I hope I didn't rush that episode. I really wanted to talk about this movie and gush on it, but we do
favorite one.
Have a time limit this time for the first time ever because we got this scheduled watch along and I want to be late for, and I got to pee. But yeah, Andy, you were right. This is a damn good Harry Potter movie. I haven't watched in so long. We've only got 2 left, guys. We're getting to the end of our Harry P coverage. And then we move on to Fantastic. I'm just kidding.
Got him.
Got him. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Email us at streamingthingspod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and MySpace and all that shit. Sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/streamingthings to subscribe to a variety of tiers, one of which will allow you to come to cool watch-along parties that's happening momentarily, where we get to watch Nightmare Before Christmas with all our friends and chat about it, Mystery Science Theater style. That's all the time we have for right now. My name is Chris.
My name is Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things. Happy streaming.
It's that time of the episode where we give a special shout out to the brand new patrons that are making sure that Streaming Things can stay on the air. These are the brand new patrons that have joined our little family this month. In the Marty B VIP section, we have our newcomers Luke Fiasco, Linda Eklund, Alexis Adler, Marley Silverbrand, Rachel Schmitz, and Nikki. Under the chocolate pudding producers, we have Rosie Moranti, Michaela Mills, Erica Summers, Haley Rolfsmeyer, Vaughn, and Chris Verrett. And we also have our Friends Don't Lie producers. Can't forget about our friends. That's Luke Fisher, Jody Woodburn, Christopher Marinakis, and Chelsea Moyer. And last but not least, I just want to give a special shout out to Sandra A for upgrading to the Marty B's VIP section. Thank you guys so much for supporting Streaming Things. Have a happy holiday season, and we'll see you next week.